All right. All right. All right.
Think we are live.
And episode,
Welcome back.
whatever fuck number this is.
1 bazillion.
So we're
Well,
live. Welcome on That Smoke Show.
I think we're on like 40 or 50 something.
gotta be.
I'm not quite sure. I have to go back and look.
What are you looking at?
Why is my video cut out? There we go.
There you go. Hey, Steve. What's up?
So we have Master Cho died 2 weeks ago. We got Skunkman Sam died this week.
Informer.
But we're still alive and we're on.
Yes,
That's
we're
already
alive.
a good thing.
Maybe we are. Maybe we're not.
Yeah. Maybe the
Well,
we recorded.
I've heard someone today talking to me like if I was alive, so I will assume that I'm still alive from today. Yeah. But yeah, big legends have fall this week. Big legends. I don't know what else to say, but we pretty much all smoke something from them.
I would say. I would say. I mean, yeah. Sam the Skunk Man, very controversial character. Some say he was an informant. Others say he wasn't. I guess we'll never really truly know.
Well, at least he was informing you about some stuff.
True.
Well, and a lot of
True.
people don't know his real name was David Watson.
Yeah, I knew
Yes.
it. I knew it from a long time ago.
Yeah. But Robert Clark wrote a good article about him. He was just on my show not too long ago. And then here you go. A lot of you guys haven't seen a picture of that skunk man Sam. Most people haven't seen a picture of him.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Hijacking to heaven.
I wonder what happens to his seed collection now that he had.
Oh, he sold part of it already.
I didn't even think about that, but he's probably got a fucking
He's probably got a fucking
bigger seed collection than fucking the greenhouse dudes even.
yeah. It's him. Neville's collection would have been something too. Um, yeah, yeah. I would say those are the three. Those are the three collections that I would really want to see.
And he died unexpectedly too. He was en route spending time with friend Todd McCormick when he died. They haven't released any information on his death, but he was up there in age. He was 64. So
Not 64, 74, right?
this, oh, his wife, 54. 54.
54 years of married.
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. Anyways, yeah. So a lot. I've only
Because he
talked
was in his
when I was
30
on.
when he went in Amsterdam in 83, 84.
Yeah, I've only ever spoken to him on House Church, so I didn't have a relationship outside of him of House Church. But
I think he was a great man. Worth mention.
sure,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like anybody who was a snitch back then did so just to save their asses, anyways. But
I
even if
don't
he
think he
did,
was a snitch. I don't
I don't
think
know.
it.
The
There was
lot
rumor
of
about it, I know.
lot
everyone
of really
in his
credible
orbit
people.
got busted, and he seemed to never get popped himself. So he
Yeah,
might not have
and
done anything, but there was definitely suspicious
there's
things.
there was a lot of people that hate each other that will agree on this. Will agree on that they think he was that they think he was an informant. But I mean,
He
like,
seemed to have He seemed to have Teflon whenever the feds came around. I'll put it that way.
And there was a couple times he was given like seemed like free reign to operate when other people were getting taken down for the same thing. Like look at his
No, but he was
it's
taking the
talking
legal
about right
route
at the
that other
bottom of the
people.
article his relationship with GW Pharma and how that they got all these concessions to do all this research and stuff that nobody else could get, right? And all of a sudden
Yeah,
he
that's probably one of the shittier things of his legacy is his work with GW Pharma. Him and what's his name? Guy's still around right now. Who did the patents for CBD and stuff.
for you talking for THC 5 or fucking or
Oh,
THC.
damn it, what's his name?
I know who you're talking about and exactly who you're talking about.
Anyways, he likes to talk about
THCV.
hypermesis syndrome a lot. I can't remember his name, but he's another one that like seems to never really get in trouble when everyone around him does, and it just seems awfully suspicious.
Well,
But
we could say the same about the coca leaf, coffee in Vancouver. They got arrested, but no charge of being on them, right? So you can see some suspicious thing about it too, but sometimes the event doesn't show the proof, it just give you more question to ask.
True, true. True, you bust anybody on the wrong day and you might not turn up much, right? When the
Yeah.
crops are cleared out. So but or he just had a fucking good lawyer that fucking made sure shit didn't stick. So I don't know.
Dude,
I
I've
don't
got
know.
police come knock on my door when I had only garden seeds that I was planting in my tent. So
Ethan Russo, Ethan
can you say
Russo,
it was luck or it was just that I was fucking hungry and I wanted to plant some tomato, some basil, some lettuce, some radish. I needed to eat. And some people may think that you got a light and a tent and some warm compost and stuff like that to grow cannabis. But I can tell you that tomato grow as good than cannabis in that same fucking thing.
Ethan,
It grow and it give me food. So am I a CIA informant?
Ethan
I don't
Russo,
know.
Ethan,
Maybe.
Rus- Ethan Russo was the guy that was at GW Pharma, the other scientist guy. I've met him on two separate occasions, and I still don't. If you're willing to patent CBD, you can go fuck yourself, as far as I'm concerned. Like that was literally like founded and given away for free by a lot of people I know in Colorado who. But if you don't know like the history of Charlotte's Web and how that was a stolen strain and all that stuff, but that was supposed to be given.
What was it? It was like RS6 1000 or something like that or something.
No, it was Wu 4 crossed with oh fuck. I interviewed him like one of my first 50 episodes was the original breeder because I was breeding what was like 80% the seed stock of Charlotte's Web that became a strain called Shirley Temple, which I still have some of, and Mr. Green Jeans did a lot of work with it as well on CBD hybrid stuff. But there was a bunch of people at this group called the Slaughtered Pig Society in Colorado that was like a pediatric hemp growers group that I got involved with through my ex. That was originally the group that one of the people from that group is the original people that did Charlotte's Web originally, and then it was stolen by the Stanley brothers, and they left to start their own business because they're pieces of shit. They're welcome to sue me for that. I have the genetics to prove it. I have the DNA sequences, and I still have genetic stock that I can prove that you're fucking liars. But yeah, crazy week. Master Cho died last week and the week before. He was a big
Yep.
loss.
Well, there's somebody who there's no dispute about what good he brought to the community. So
Yeah, but he's like, it's kind of sucks because some of his followers are so blindly, like if you deviate from Master Cho's work at all, it's and it's like,
that's
dude,
I learned that very early on in fucking KNF and Jadam. Like when you start breaking away, there's gonna be a huge percentage of people that are just like, "What? That's not what the textbook says. Are you fucking
yeah,
ridiculous?" Like,
the lady
oh.
people are the same way. A lot of the soft food people are like so stuck on their own, like it has to be this way. It's any different, it's wrong. And it's like,
Oh,
no,
if
like,
it's white hyphy, it's not poisonous. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? How do you
yeah,
fucking
like,
know that?
well, that's a great example of one that's totally bullshit. You like, so the color of hyphae is directly influenced by the amount of humic or fulvic acid available. I think it was Dr. Faust that said that, or Dr. Efron, when it, like someone has way more authority than fucking some of the people that spread the bullshit. Um, and it's like, yeah, no, like it totally makes sense that fungi are going to be influenced by the environment because mushrooms are influenced by the environment. Like, you know,
Absolutely.
aspen boletes will change color quite a bit depending on the associated tree. Yeah, they call it aspen boletes, but they go, well, the other name for them is scabers, but they don't just grow on aspens, but they have a different color to the cap if they grow on different trees. So like just
Yep.
one example. But you know, I don't know. But he sure did start a lot of, and like Elaine, you know, she's the other person out there aside from Master Cho, like really started the ball going for a lot of people and laid the foundation for a lot of other people's work. I mean, you know, all our awesome work of Chris Trump and Matt Powers and myself and lots of other people. Nigel Palmer, who was on my show last week, that you should go listen to.
Inside, inside blog.
What have you guys been up to this week?
Well, my been taking care of those little coot fucking I don't know what to call them, like coot
Yeah, the one
fucking
Pakalolo, I think.
uh, yeah, but it's yeah, I guess it is. I guess it
Coot
yeah.
Troops,
So
Coot Troopers,
Coots candy, Coots Skittles, something like
Candy,
that.
Coots Runts. Coots Cherry
Coots
Gelato.
Gobstoppers, Coots Gobstoppers. So Coots Gobstoppers.
Gobstopper.
Coots Lemon Cherry Gelato.
That's a
Oh,
Damangiare gelato cootie.
Even better, Coots Cookies.
Coots.
That's Coot's cookies. Yeah. But that's like chocolate chips cookies, I think, that you should call it.
Coots
So
Lemon
you're,
Baby Cheese.
so you're
Well, the
taking
Coots,
care of those baby, right? So
yeah,
that's what you were saying.
they're coming along nicely. They're coming along nicely. I gave them some fish amino acid there yesterday. Um,
So you're
I
giving your plant the sushi on top of it?
yeah,
Holy crap.
giving them the sushi, giving them the KNF sushi. They love the KNF sushi. Little fish sauce on them. They know what's up. Good amino acids. They
But
drink
was,
it up and they get happy. Start praying.
I'm just thinking that don't pour fish sauce on Coot, won't taste better.
It's not what's it fucking it's not the fucking it's not your regular fish fertilizer. So Coot wouldn't hate on it that much. It's
Yeah, no,
only
no,
fish and
we're
sugar.
we're
Fish and
joking, but
sugar.
we enjoy it.
Somebody in
Yeah.
chat asked what happens to Sam seeds. That's a question you should ask on Hash Church this week because I bet Marcus will have a better answer.
Yeah, all I know is that part of his collection have been sold before, but it doesn't mean that all his seeds are gone. I guess he had copy of everything still left, I guess.
I've never given away more than 50% of anything. In fact, I was talking last episode, or I think it was last episode when Mr. Green Genius was on. I started just going through my collection because I have every seed he's ever given me, and he's been giving me seeds since 2018 on a regular basis. So I bet that he has a bunch and a bunch of rare old stuff that
I bet
is
you he
probably.
has. I bet you he has some really cool stuff put away.
I would give my left nut to go through that seed collection. I'll put it that way.
I feel that way too. And knowing what Coot has given away to other people, their companies, I would like to see what he has held still too. I bet you he's got a collection.
Yeah, I
Although
don't know.
he doesn't
I
he
don't.
doesn't pop much.
Yeah, I don't know what he would like to share again of what you've got left, because I feel like you've already shared a couple things that he wanted to be sure that they get out and people get it, you know.
Yeah.
So what else that he got that he kept for which reason? Yeah, I would be curious of that one for sure. So, Coot, the question is up. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, the 50% things, yeah, I done it. I done it a couple time, and I think it worth it sometime. Not every time that I think that it have worth it to give, but it depend at who. Yeah. To me, it's more like if I think you worth it, you may get a lot more than what you expect first, and that's the gift I can give. But yeah, I mean, it depends on your own, yeah, on your own thing. It's not a you should or you should not. It's really depend on what you feel. Yeah, all those seeds are pretty much sentimental at one point because they are not always the biggest
It's
value of what they are, but they are linked with memory
yeah,
and
it's weird how you
everything,
get
you know.
attached to. It's I think it's the same way with books though. I'm like that with books that I read. Even when
Yeah.
I don't really like a book, I have a really hard time giving it away or even throwing it away. Giving it away, I'm a little better with, but like you like just throwing it away or giving it to fucking charity. Like I don't like parting with them. I form a relationship with the books I've read.
Oh man, I've got at one point a police officer doubting that I had not read everything that is in my house. I was like, are you serious? Like, are you really serious about it? Because I can ask you to like, okay, ask me anything that you've got in that book from any book, and tell me if I recognize that sentence. Just test me, please. Test me, dude. Like I've read it all. Everything that it's in my house, I've read it. So yeah, go ahead and ask.
And you know it's weird.
But
I'm just as attached to the digital books as well because I'll be like, and it'll be like, I won't even want to delete them off my fucking device, even though I can just re-download them anytime I wanted to. Right? Like,
Yeah, good books are good like that because you can put them on your phone. You're stuck at the airport, you're stuck somewhere, or you're in the grow and you don't have
oh yeah.
service. You know, like remember a table or a reference number, a ratio or something.
But my favorite place to go search for books when I don't have something to read is Potent Tonics Google Drive. Yeah, you can get
oh
to
shit,
it.
yeah,
You
you
can
got
get to
enough in
it
it.
from the
Put that in chat again.
yeah, and let me tell you, it's the place. It's a great place to go. That you can find almost anything. It, yeah, a well put together playground for the say the marijuana for the I don't know what the it's it's a library for the free mind.
Yeah. I found a bunch of them. Like I kind of have a weird knack for hunting them down. So I actually am we have a grow AI separate from the other ones I'm working on right now with a different friend of mine, and we're training it on all of the books in the drive.
Cool. That is awesome.
It'll be like Mega Guru. I am dropping links in the chat for people that are wanting them. And if you ever, all these are on my Discord. I have a bunch of additional ones and calculators, and there's a section that says documents on my Discord that just has a bunch of different separate things on there. But if you're in chat, you can those are just I built one the first drive, and the rest of them are just drives I've found, or there's a mega drive on there as well. But there's between those drives about 7 or 8 gigs or more of books. And mine has like 1.2. Sungrown Mids is like 4. And the other ones are I'm not quite sure. But if you're looking for a good book, especially out of print stuff, there's a lot of cool out of print cannabis books that are digitized on there in particular. There's a lot of stuff like
cool too.
yeah, the what's it, the alchemy one
Yeah.
that has the like THCA or THCO synthesis and stuff is really cool in there. Let me find it here.
Have you heard about that THCB?
Yeah.
Okay, it's because I've listened too much of Hamilton.
The trick with
Have you heard of that THC
the
being
trick with
B?
THCV, so THCV is directly tied to a water stress hormone metabolite. So if you wait until the plants wilt, like go from like praying to like wilted, like visibly like a droopy hand wilted,
Yep.
And then water them, but like you wait until they're stressed out and having that stress response before you water them. That's how you boost THCV. This is the book I was looking for. Cannabis Alchemy, Art of Modern Hash Making. This is like a really cool book if you're looking at like early hash making stuff. Lots of cool techniques and stuff in there. Yeah, this was for hash oil extractions. This is like ice hash a separation, but they have THC, or is it THCO synthesis is on page.
Oh, but they take. Oh, is it the one that you take the citric acid to to transform it, to extract it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no, I know that about that one. Yeah, it's the only one that it's not present in the plant, but you can create it.
Well, so this is the only one where like you can't claim ignorance as of like, oh no, we didn't know that this was a thing. Here we go. THC to THC acetate. This is the first book that like
Yeah,
published
that THS that I remember that one.
the process on how to do it.
Yeah, don't do it inside.
Well, if you have a flow hood, it's all right.
Yeah, maybe a flow hood with a good, yeah.
Yeah, exhaust fan, window, gloves. See, it's all in a contained. It gives you measurements. Anyways, they explain this, but so this is the only one that, unlike all the other cannabinoids in that are like not that are CBD derivatives, this one actually has precedence with the DEA for prosecution, whereas the other ones do not.
Yeah, but you know that the process is really similar to a process of making another drug.
Well, the
and that's
only
the
hard
reason why.
is making the acetyl anhydride. Like otherwise, it's a very simple process. Like it's not. Yeah, the acetic anhydride. This is the hard part. Is making that part. Once you have that, that's fine. But that is a Schedule and precursor because it's used for creation of other things that we won't mention so we don't get the episode flagged. But you can make other fun substances with acetic anhydride. I mean, they talk about honey oil and translucent honey oil, but this is like in 1970, 1971, making dabs.
Yeah.
It was like 20 years before anyone had really done much with it. So if you want to kind of learn some of the science behind it, or at least where it started off at, maybe not quite where it's at now, but if you're tinkering, you might come up with some interesting ideas. I have just an ungodly amount of books on the drive. Um, yeah, so good reference place. And Sungrown Mids has one I got linked in the chat as well. That's his own research. A lot of my books came from, they used to have these hacker CDs. It was like hacking tools for IT guys, and you used to be able to buy them at video game collections or computer shows. Sorry. And they would have these like hacker tools or like IT tools, and they would often have like a PDF folder on there that had like drug information or like how to grow weed or how to grow mushrooms or how to grow whatever. Um, and a lot of those PDFs came from those, you know, 50 or 100 that were on each CD I used to buy. And then the rest I've just hunted down through Facebook groups or torrents or other fucking hidden corners of the internet. It'd be cool to make like a fucking free library of weed or like drug info. Like Arrowweed kind of is that way, but not in that kind of literary sense.
So on another note, I found that there's gonna be a giant Putin bar in a carnival in Quebec.
Putin bar?
Yeah, they say that it's a giant Putin bar. That's how they describe it.
It's a Putin bar, like Vladimir Putin.
Maybe not Vladimir, but maybe more Putin.
Putin? Putin or Putin? Those are very different.
Putin.
Oh,
Putin.
if it's a Putin bar, I might have to
I thought
fire
you're
up the
pooting
pub.
on the Ritz.
Yeah, I might have to get the drones out if it's a Putin bar.
No, there's gonna be no drone in that Putin bar. But that's a funny thing that in the winter they offer poutine, because to me poutine go with winter. It's cold, you're hangover, and you ate a big poutine. Yeah, it come together. And holy shit, I don't know what I've just did. I've erased
I don't know
one
if you
of my
guys.
Instagram tab.
I don't know if
Is
you
that
find it
that one?
funny.
Okay, I just got it back. Okay, I'll share that one.
But watching them Russians run from the drones right into minefields and shit is like goddamn hilarious. We put on Benny Hill music to that shit. It is fucking just funny as
So
fuck.
mean,
we got that famous cow, that a big cow named Big Bertha, who drank whiskey and lived until she was 48, had 39 calves, and broke two Guinness record. And she helped raise $75,000 for cancer research by appearing at event. So I think that cow is worth mention. After her death in '93, Bertha remained the cherished symbol of charity.
Whiskey is part
So
of a balanced diet. It's on the food groups on the pyramid there.
Yeah,
Well,
whiskey's on the food diet.
it
Yeah.
obviously preserved Bertha for a little longer, just to do a few more good works in her time. So cheers to Bertha.
Right? Hell yeah. I feel like Bertha is also the name of cows in a lot of video games. Like her legend lives on through digital media.
Yeah.
There's definitely a Blizzard game, and I can't remember which one that has a cow named Bertha. If it's Diablo or WoW or one of them. Someone in chat will know. I'm stoked. We're popping about 24 to 30 fucking strains right now to get the nursery going for pheno hunting. We're gonna pop all that shit and keep the moms going and then flower everything out and see what we got. And then we'll test all the stuff that's decent and we'll pre-roll the rest. But I think we're going to do about 50-50 hash producing and flower strains because in Humboldt, it's like 70% hash producers. So you're only really going flower for the home market. Most of the people here are growing for hash. So I was telling the
I'm
guys
just
before the show
saying
was
that
live, we had a pair of bald eagles that were mating up directly above the nursery this yesterday. It was fucking dope.
I'm just saying that Chris Guerrero is making a sandwich, but he's only making pastrami sandwich for himself, and he want to join us. I mean, you should make 3 more sandwich, dude. Come on. You're good to make sandwich for yourself. Make 3 other sandwich, and we'll thank
Gluten-free
you
bread
three
for
times.
mine. Gluten-free bread for mine.
Gluten
Uh,
free for you. All right.
Marshall in chat asked, do any of you know seed lines or cuts for high THCV? So anything Durban can have high THCV. The water
Congolese.
stress hormone, like we hit 17%.
Yeah, I
I think
heard the
is the highest
Congolese.
I've seen anybody test in a lab. And that was with a line that was not supposed to be particularly high with that water stress hormone. So, but for stuff that you can buy, there's a strain called Free the V from
Yeah,
uh
Jad
gentleman
Nectar.
in Santa Cruz. What's his name? His name is
Monsanto.
what's his name? He's in Santa Cruz. I did a video of it down at his farm, like not that long ago. I cannot remember his Instagram name right now. Hold on a second. I will find it. Um, Damn it. Why am I like it's like deleted from my brain. We just did a farm tour. Jade Nectar. Jade Nectar has a strain called Free the V that's supposed to be particularly good if you're looking for one. Thank you, chat. Jade Nectar. Um, Sorry, it has been a whirlwind of a week, and my kid's mom got hurt and was at the hospital yesterday, and all kinds of other shit. So I've been dealing with lots of things in and out of work that's got my brain scrambled. Um,
And
Marijuana affects the memory.
it does. Um, but Jade Nectar has a strain that's really good. But honestly, anything Durban, and the other one is Lebanese. Lebanese weed tends to have a very good baseline of 3% or higher. So if you're looking for THCV in particular, Lebanese stuff like Red Leb or anything Lebanese blonde, anything like that is going to be good, or anything Durban poison or his Free the V. But like I said, every time I've had it, it's been with that water stress hormone. So waiting until the plants wilt until you water them, and I'm talking about from veg, like germinate them, get them a month in, and then start abusing them with the water. Like I'm talking about. Like I know it sounds insane, but
I'm
that
good at that.
how it works. I've repeated it 3 times. Like I can statistically prove that this is the trigger.
Yeah, V and abusing seem to be together.
Yeah, so the Veron portion
Now, do
of
you
the
think do you
cannabinoid
think
is
that just happens naturally with the African strains from being in like drought areas? It must be.
Well, so the interesting thing is there's two different genetic populations that tend to express it a lot, right? So it clearly isn't a single source, whereas most of the
Okay,
other
yeah.
trace it back to that. So that makes it a little bit more interesting. But Lebanon and Southern Africa both have kind of California-esque rain patterns where you have a wet season and a dry season. So it's clearly some type of water retention, water stress, mold resistance, some kind of environmental thing because it's happening again in those two regions. Okay. Yeah, he was supposed to send me some too, and I didn't get them, but I'm gonna poke him again. It's one that I want to play with because I have the highest COA of a THCV strain that I've seen ever, which is 17.8. I've never seen anyone beat 17.8% on THCV in a single, and that was from SC Labs, so it's not like it was a fly by night lab. So that's the highest I've seen from anybody. And again, that was the result of a pump failure. So we had one of the kids at my ex's house fucked with the timer pins, and it was only watering once every day and a half or so, the way the pins were set. And the plant was basically stressing out, and that all those plants were ridiculously high, and we realized that the pump was messed with. And when we repeated the test again with a different pump and pump timer, it didn't do it. And then we realized that the timing on the pump was part of the issue. So we recreated it 2 more times and got it to work right. So that was the process of determination. It was just really cerebral high. It was very like very pining high-ish. Like if you ever had a strain that's super high and pine,
Yeah.
it's very like psychedelic and cerebral. That's what it was like. And like you didn't get the munchies or anything like that. It was very like I don't know. Normally when you get super cerebral high like that, you kind of get hungry, and this didn't do that.
Yeah. THCV is known for having appetite suppressant.
Yeah, but the strain that I got mine on was not anything special. It was the blue hash strain that I have that I work with Mr. Green Jeans. And I mean, the highest we ever hit before that was like 3%, 4% before hitting the super high numbers. So, I mean, it went from 3 or 4% to 17.8 just because of water, at least as far as I can tell, as far as variable, because the grow lights, the grow beds, the system was the same, the water was the same. The only difference was how often they were being watered. So if you're chasing THCV in particular, put a camera on your plants and a remote way to water them and do it that way. Yeah, so it is appetite suppressant. It also is THCV is supposed to help with like neurological disorders like PTSD, soldiers that have been blown up, people that have been car accidents, people that have like neurological damage.
I found
CBC.
that it helped me better to function than smoking regular weed, you know. If I want to do do my day and smoke something, finish my day with a couple joint,
The other thing too,
something that is richer in THCV seem to do the tricks better for me.
if you're pheno hunting for THCV, go get a lab test for CBGV and test it at like week 4 because CBGV week 3 because CBGV is a different molecule than CBG. So like all your other cannabinoids except for the V variants are going to be based on CBG. CBGV is a separate base molecule, so your starting point is different, right? So if you have a higher CBGV, you could immediately know if you're going to have a higher potential THCV later on because it is a separate base molecule. It doesn't make THCV from CBG. Yeah, the Veron stuff is very different in terms of synthesis. That's why I think it's like poorly understood. But I can tell you right now, you can replicate it if you water starve it. So make them pout before they get watered. And I'm talking like from beginning to end of life of the whole plant, like even your mom's, like the whole cycle, they need to pout before they get water. Like I can't stress that enough. If you want to replicate the results that I had.
It's awesome. That's awesome to know. And, I have and will try it. I was lucky enough for you told me about it when it was happening. So
Since we're on this like weird rabbit hole stuff, you know what's interesting? Uh what's his name? Nigel Palmer was getting really interesting results with his FPJ ferments. So he was taking FPJ, making normal FPJ, like fermented plant juice, the way you
yep.
normally would with sugar, and then taking the solids after a week or however long you're going to normally do your FPJ, straining them and then putting them in vinegar and doing a vinegar extraction on them. And he was getting like 8 to 10 times the amount of manganese and molybdenum and boron and a handful of other nutrients that were very obviously in way higher numbers. Manganese and molybdenum in particular were, ridiculously high coming off of those in comparison. I thought that was really interesting as an extra step process to doing your FPJs.
But once you got that solution, I mean, you need to dilute it a lot to be sure that you don't water your plant with too much vinegar, because you're gonna have a pH down effect.
Well, I mean, it's easy enough to adjust the pH. Just a little potassium silicate, you can bring it back up. You're using these all as a dilution anyway, you know. But if you say you need to add silicon and potassium, you can just add a bunch of potassium silicate and leave it as a concentrate and boost it back up, even if you want to. I love to do that with compost tea. I'll let the compost tea brew an extra day, get it real acidic, and then add the potassium silicate just to give it that instant potassium and silica and watch them bloom out like crazy. Because remember, the trichome stalks need silica. Like the stalk of your trichomes are made of silica. If you do not have enough silica, you're gonna have trichome problems, and no one ever talks about that. Like, it really like makes me want to lose my mind sometimes on how everyone just ignores silica as like this dependent nutrient when it's needed as much as like potassium is in terms of parts per million. And it's like, why are we just ignoring this? Like, what the fuck? Like, it just makes no sense to me. Like, it just always has baffled me, and I never understood why. The other one, molybdenum, is taught completely wrong, right? I've had this conversation twice in the last month with others agricultural experts, but like they teach you molybdenum should be like 0.03 parts per million. No, it shouldn't. It should be like zero point 0.5 to 1 part per million. It should be way higher than what is typically taught if you want proper gene expression on your plants, because you will not get purple plants. You will not get flavorful plants. You will not get nitrogen resistant plants that can tolerate any level of nitrogen without proper molybdenum. And people just do not understand it, especially if you accidentally overdose with nitrogen, which most people do, and reduce their flowering yields. Having the molybdenum dialed in will completely address that. I don't understand why it's just ignored. But yeah, if you like that kind of combo, check out the episode I did last week with Nigel Palmer. We got really deep into natural farming and advanced natural farming and parts per million numbers and calcium reduction with IMOs and interesting stuff. Cuborax for boron. I don't know what that is. Sodium borate or boric acid work good for batting boron. The other, if you want to go supernatural, kelp extract is very high in boron. So you can use Maxi Crop or your favorite seaweed blend. Cyto Plus is another good one if you want to go for bioag. I can nerd out on numbers on that kind of stuff all day. It is nice though to have a bunch of plants like currently germinating right now. We have about 30 strains that we're about to pheno hunt through.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I still gotta order like lemon cherry gelato and the fucking generic bullshit, but all the good stuff is popping right now. Someone says can definitely overdo silica and flour. I've never overdosed silica and flour. I've run silica as high as 375 parts per million, which I'm sure is higher than what you were doing in terms of bioavailability. We've never had any negative downside. It doesn't lock anything out nutrient wise. It doesn't have any kind of negative impact on the cation exchange. Um, so I'm not sure how you'd overdose on it. I don't understand the chemical interactions of it because we ran it ungodly high just to see what happened, and we had no negative effects. Borax is fine for boron. Borax is sodium borate. Sodium is fine until you're getting like pretty high in the parts per million. So what's interesting is, and I feel like there's a sweet spot. Like, okay, for breeding, there's a sweet spot with sodium. So I didn't know this until I worked with lettuce. And I realized this happens in cannabis because I've had results with cannabis that were not explainable. And then I've had results with lettuce where we mapped everything out very specifically and we had the same result. So sodium, when it comes to sodium levels, sodium increases phenotypic expression. So is this observable? Well, if I grow a bunch of red saleless lettuce, for example, right? Red lettuce that you normally get at your grocery store. And I run it at a sodium level of say 20 parts per million, 30 parts per million, no phenotypic expression, right? All of those red saleless lettuce will all be red saleless lettuce. If I increase that red saleless lettuce to 80 or 90 parts per million lettuce or 110 parts per million, sodium, suddenly I get phenotypic expression across 1,000 heads of lettuce. I'm going to get maybe 80 to 100 that don't want to play right? So some of them are going to be gigantic and grow much bigger. Some of them are going to be green and not red. Some of them are going to have different shaped leaves. Like one of them's going to have oak leaves. They're going to get different expressions on the like random gene expression that's like trying to address that that sodium level triggers that gene mutation. And why, I couldn't tell you. I have no idea as to the mechanism on it, but I can tell you, having observed this many times at aquaponics facilities, 100% this is something that you absolutely can predict and replicate. And if you're into breeding, I think it might behoove you to run a 70 or 80 part per million sodium because you're going to get more expression in the genome, right? You're going to get more diversity in your genome expression if you're solely doing breeding. But if you're after consistency, obviously that's a negative. But if you're trying to, get just new gene mutations, I think it's something that you could do intentionally. Chris, the link is in chat if you wanted to join when you're done your sandwich. The only difference with the flour with the high silica is the same as the high boron. The leaves are a little waxier, right? So it's a little more like leathery. The leaves are a little more leathery when they're dry. That's the only difference I noticed with the higher silica. Oh, you're saying it's not a toxicity, just makes everything bammer. Yeah, it definitely increases trichome production. I definitely believe that. Salt is good to a point. Yeah, I think running at 30 or 40 parts per million sodium is good. If you run zero sodium, it's bad. The plants need some level of sodium for nerve communication. They're same thing with like arsenic and aluminum. Like plants need a minimum level of arsenic in order to function. You yourself as a living human being, Angus in chat, also need arsenic at a minimum level. In fact, you get normally the amount of arsenic that you need for about 4 months from an apple, for instance. Don't like snorting drywall. Well, drywall isn't silica, drywall is calcium. So I'm not quite sure where you're going at. Little blue juice. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just stoked to have a nursery going again and stoked to have
That's
plants
awesome.
in the ground again. And we got some plants we picked up from Mr. Green Jeans. We got one that smells like fresh hamburger meat. I can't remember the strain right now on that one. And then we have an Oreo from him, which is the Oreo cup from Mr. Green Jeans smells like DMT. And the hash really smells like DMT. And when you smoke it, it tastes like chocolate. It's a very weird strain.
Sounds it.
His is the loudest of all of them. I actually have some Oreo hash right here, but it doesn't quite taste like his or anything close, to be honest. It's same notes, but they're not as loud. Cue the intro song. Oh, we don't have one. We need to get one. We need to do a little intro song like he does with his show. We can be snazzy.
Well, we had a small intro song.
Hey,
We
who's
just
on my
stopped to
tonight?
play it.
We should make that lazy bitch the guy go, yo.
What's up, Chris?
What's up, dude? Yeah.
How's it going? Welcome. I don't know if you've been on the show yet before. Welcome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he
sure.
been
I apologize.
at least one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
Yes.
I had once before.
How goes it, Chris?
All right, all right. There we go. I gotta get used to Zoom. I always forget you can't see the comments and stuff on Zoom.
Oh, here's the chat.
Yeah,
Private chat.
you need to open the YouTube and
There you
And
go.
pull the
exit
chat
the
out.
box if you want, or
It. There we go.
You're down in like Sac area, right?
Yeah, I'm wondering when you're coming to visit, man.
I think I'll be down there. Jordan River, I think, has an event down that way at some point in the next 2 or 3 months, and I'll be down there at some point. So
All right. See.
I'm up in Humboldt if you
Oh.
head this way.
Yeah, dude, you know that. You know how far that is.
Yeah.
It's like 5 hours away. It's just like either I could go to LA, I could go up to Humboldt. It's about the same amount of time to
Yeah,
get
but
to
one
either
of those
one.
two places is on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything left in LA?
Don't know. It's in LA. It's like 500 miles away. It's like other side of like it'd be like the other side of the country for you guys sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
We had a fire here yesterday, like a 4-acre fire. They got out in time, but before it got too big. But the fucking wet season in NorCal, and we're having fires that are spreading. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's not really wet season for Southern California. That's like dry season still. Our wet season up here, it'd be really hard pressed to find a place to catch on fire up here where we're at. Really hard pressed. We are going to start raining again up here soon, so we're about to get some good amount of rain. Hopefully, we need it. You know that we can stay out of the drought. So yeah.
I heard one of the biggest problems was the eucalyptus that had been brought into California.
Oh God, Jesus, yeah. Like, that's not always my argument with people that they talk about smell like nuisances with cannabis. I go, what about the eucalyptus trees, man? If you don't like eucalyptus trees, man, we got eucalyptus all over the place, and it stinks like eucalyptus.
And then their reproduction is based on fire, anyways. They burn like crazy, and then like come up from the ground like nothing too.
And they break like crazy too.
Yeah.
Real, like they grow huge, like massive trees, huge, massive trees, and then they break super easy. And they're like a natural weed killer. So you won't see that many plants growing underneath it. If you
No.
do, they're not really healthy, And the only mushroom that I've ever seen growing on is oyster mushroom, shelf mushroom.
They're poisonous. You can't eat the ones off of them. They're poison.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The
So that
mushrooms
was.
that grow on the eucalyptus are poison. The native ones that grow on it, they're normally
Mhm.
you cannot eat them if they're grown near the eucalyptus. They're poison.
Yep.
Huh, crazy. I don't know that.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of eucalyptus.
Some oak trees can do that too. The allopathy, the roots release. The other one that can do that is garlic mustard that fucks all that shit up too. It kills all the mycorrhizal fungi in the soil and stuff, but it releases an allopathy that makes a toxin that can build up.
Walnut trees are another one that won't grow underneath because the what do they call it? They're the begins with a T. Oh, geez, I can't think of the name of it. All right, where's my plug?
What does eucalyptus smell like? Mostly like eucalyptus.
Yes, really strong eucalyptus. Yes.
It it smell yeah, it smell like something strong. Not piney, but close to that.
Yes.
There's some candy for with eucalyptus if you want to try.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's disgusting. That would be disgusting. Yeah, I wouldn't want to try eucalyptus candy. Um, so
Eucalyptus.
yeah, it's been a while since I've been on here, and where did
I was gonna say eucalyptus
where,
is
oh
great in the sauna. Mix like eucalyptus and mullein and open your lungs
yes.
right. Otherwise, it's no good.
So it has been a while since I've been here, and some things have changed. So you become a dad. Congratulations.
Yes, my munchkin is now almost 4 months old in about 4 more days.
Oh man, that is so awesome. That's such an awesome age because they don't do much.
No,
You don't have to run after them or anything, and but soon they'll be mobile.
started
Mine
talking
started,
already. He's
yeah,
not even 4 months and he's talking, which is fucking crazy.
which is disturbing because I had one that started talking fast and started wanting to crawl and wanting to run and wanting to do everything way too quick and stuff. And he is a bit much. He is extra in every single way. Extra good at sports, extra good at everything, and extra naughty too when he wants to be a jerk. So he's very strong opinionated and takes after his mom in the aspects that he's raw. You know what I mean? So I'm more laid back. She's more of the high strung.
Yeah, I have two wolf dogs, and I think my two wolf dogs and my son are all equally as mischievous at this point.
Oh man. So how do you like living up in Humboldt?
This is my third time living up here, so I like it. This is the right amount of like not seeing people and seeing people and city and not city. And
Nice.
we
So
were dealing
when
with issues with the kitchen. You know, and it's been a pain in the ass getting our edible stuff fucking licensed, but that's been the only thing. It's been more annoying than I expected.
oh man, that sucks. Does
Uh,
when was the last time you lived like what were the years that you lived there? Because I know that Humboldt has changed a
yeah,
lot
I was out here in
over
2016. And then
okay.
again, 2018. So
Okay, so you got you
Coincidentally, when they were filming Murder Mountain.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So I used to go running we had a when I lived there we had a Toyota Echo, and we used to go running through all those mountains, roads, and everything. And Toyota, because Toyota Echo, those little mountain roads are like a freeway for that car. so I could go sideways around the corners and stuff in that car, and I could do hit the e brake and do a spin around on
Yeah.
those back rows. Yeah, it was pretty fun.
One of our,
I like.
one of our 7 properties is up on Murder Mountain. We were up there the other day, and the dogs ran off the neighbor's property, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun."
As long as you ain't over there trying to rob shit, if they see you're just fucking going over to the river and shit, you know what I'm saying? If you're going over to fucking Ill River and shit, South Fork of the Ill River, then they're not tripping and shit. Just don't go over there trying to rob shit and go up in people's properties trying to do stupid shit.
Yeah,
That's the only reason.
My dogs chased some deer over to the neighbor's property, and it took a minute to get them back. But I learned my lesson the first time, so they all have satellite tracking collars and stuff. So
Oh man,
I feel like deer chasing is a fucking service in Humboldt. I mean, like people should be fucking thanking you. Like,
my
deer
dogs are the
chasing is
best
a
weed
fucking.
farm dogs. They kill coyotes and they eat deer, so they're like the best dogs to have.
oh my god, that's awesome. That is awesome. They eat deer. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
they can take
I
down
like.
adults or fawns.
My wife has been shopping for new dogs. She's been looking at you know what Kangles are? You ever seen the Kangles?
Yeah, but
Oh
like
yeah, they are a small dog, right?
unless
Yeah,
no,
they're
unless
little tiny dog. Make my Saint Bernard look small, anyways. But
Yeah, well, it's small when you put it beside a horse.
yeah, I was
like a
gonna say unless
Clydesdale,
you're like
baby.
6'3", 6'4", you should not have a Kangol.
I probably should have a Kangol.
You have children. You should not have a Kangol.
The children will ride the Kangol.
Into battle.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's not America. They can't be firing their fucking AR-15 on the back of the Kangol.
And that's why I need liberation now, potent.
This
Send
is
the
why
troops
Need
north.
liberation. Please
So you want to
liberate
become the?
Alberta.
So are you saying that you want to become the 51st state?
I am not opposed to the idea. Where some Canadians are like, no, 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 no. I'm like, well, let's hear them out.
Wes is like,
I,
make Canada great again.
Hey, all I can say is
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
the only way I'm gonna be able to eat poutine up in Canada is if you guys become a state. That's the only way. They ain't letting me up there. They're gonna be
well,
like, oh no,
look,
no, no, no. We're like, what, dude? My
look,
money's not green like the rest of everybody else's. I'm just gonna go up there, eat poutine, and fucking party
no,
with some
no, no.
people.
I am ready for July 4th instead of Canada Day. All right.
We,
I look, I have a whole bunch of history I gotta fucking brush up on. Look, whatever, I'll do what it takes. Let me in. I want lower taxes, more dollar value. Come on.
Well,
well,
what was
I think
that?
we can bring you in with like a train with the special logo saying explosive and all that kind of thing, and then dangerous and you know big hazard, and there will be like, oh yeah, it come by train, it can come here. We got Megantic, oh we can, it's good. There's no problem.
And like Canada already has like a history. Like you guys have the Mad Trapper of Rat River. That was a fucking crazy story.
Hazard, and there will be like, oh yeah, it come by train, it can come here. We got Megantic, oh we can, it's good. There's no problem.
Like Canada already has like a history. Like you guys have the Mad Trapper of Rat River. That was like guys living there.
And there will be like, oh yeah, it come by train, it can come here. We got Megantic, oh we can, it's
Dude,
good.
we got feedback from you.
Like Canada already has like a history. Like you guys have the Mad Trapper of Rat River. That was like guys living there.
And there will be like, oh yeah, it come by train, it can come here. We got Megantic, oh we can,
Dude, we got feedback from you.
Coot, there we go. I didn't want to talk over that. There we go. So this is a famous, if you're ever interesting story, there's lots of good podcasts on this guy, but this guy was a trapper and they hunted him down through like 150 miles of wilderness through like a blizzard and negative 40-degree temperatures to hunt this guy who had killed, I don't know, somebody in some kind of dispute up in Canada. But they have lots of crazy like old trapper stories and stuff like that. If you're into like you think the Wild West stories and stuff about the West and Billy the Kid and all that stuff. Fun fact, I am the great, I think it's 2 or 3. Pretty sure it's 2. Great nephew of Sundance Kid. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 greats, but my grandfather is in the PBS special about him. Anyways,
Oh, but I was talking about Megantic. There was a Megantic outlaw that was one of those hunts that have lasted a while.
yeah.
A couple of years, if I remember.
But anyways,
That guy don't look like he's doing too good.
no, he's frozen.
Ah, yeah,
That's
that
after
makes
they got
sense.
him. But if you're interested, there's a really good, I forget if it's PBS news station or one of them has a really good YouTube video on this. One of the PBS or NPR, one of them has a really good episode on him. How's it going, Coot?
Oh, you muted.
You're muted there, bud.
Another beautiful bald guy.
You're still muted there, Coot. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Coot.
He's dropping bars of gold. He's telling us the secrets of the universe.
Growing the best weed ever, and we
Yeah.
can't.
He's muted.
There you go. Now we can hear you.
Yeah. Well, I was just planning on, 51st State and everything, probably go check it out. Take a drive up to Hudson Bay, and we want to rename that maybe Hillbilly Harbor, something like that, to honor the voters for landslide smirk here. And going to change the name of Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. That should be fascinating. Might as well piss off everybody in the what was it? A few years ago, the North American Trade Agreement between Mexico, Canada, and the USA. I guess we're just going to cut that out, so.
I mean, if they're part of the United States, then I guess it really doesn't matter.
At least Gulf of America makes sense, right? You have North America and South America.
I agree with you.
And
I completely agree with you.
And Central America. So
it's all Americas. It's all Americas. I get it. But does he get it? Does Trump get that America is a continent and not a country?
I think it's more about laying claim to the oil in the area. Just an offhand thought. I think that's more what it's about.
I heard somebody talking about that they have some type of thing that they said they can't drill in the Gulf of Mexico, and if they rename it Gulf of America, drill, baby, drill.
That is a hilarious.
I thought we were going to be driving Teslas. Wasn't that the whole Elon Musk deal? I mean,
dude, it's going to be funny as hell if that's really what it is.
Lithium batteries burn at 9,000 degrees and can vaporize the floors of parkades. Yeah.
So they tell you don't even park those in garages. If you have one, they say don't park it in your garage.
Have you ridden in a 2-year-old Tesla? Not a new one, but one that's been,
No,
I've never been in a Tesla.
Well, first of all,
is that weird?
It's got this weird screen. It looks like a giant iPad right in the center of your dash, right? So you got all that shit going on because you're running a computer, it's not a car.
Yeah.
And so you have all this visual shit going on with, like you're watching a video on YouTube and you got cartoons popping up and, buy this and buy that and shit. And then the idiot that owned this car he all of a sudden he says, "Oh shit, I forgot to plug this in last night." So now we're riding around trying to find a Tesla charging station, and just on and on and on. And all this for it's not a it depends what you want in a car. Do you want a Hugo or do you want a Maserati? You want to handle like a car, do you want to handle like a truck?
Well, who here on the panel has driven one? Because I've had a chance to drive both the sport model, the 2-seater, and the 4-seater.
Never been in one, never driven one. Only
I've
electric
only
car
ridden
that.
in one, I've not driven one. So
So when you take your foot off the gas, it
Mm-hmm.
starts to brake the car. So you
Yes.
have to drive it differently in
sure.
terms
Yes.
of how you do with the gas, because as soon as you take your foot off the gas, it uses the momentum to backspin to generate power. So you have
Yes.
to always give it gas or have it in autopilot, one or the other, or it doesn't drive well. Like it slows down as soon as you take your foot off the gas, which is weird. But the speed that you can take turns with that car, and I'm talking like when you're
Oh, they
fucking around
have, yeah.
and you're like gassing it and really
But let me ask you a question. I've not ridden one, so I'm just speculating.
yeah.
But I'm looking at one, or not looking at one, but I'm thinking about one that's when it was new was 125, and now you can pick them up for about 80. A Hummer.
Yeah.
You know what that motherfucker weighs?
Oh well,
You know what
the
a
weight
set of
on
tires on that thing cost?
yeah.
Oh my God.
The nice thing though is because of the way the clutch works with the power generation, the brakes last like 80,000 miles or like 60,000 miles or
Yeah.
something. And the brake, you don't replace your brakes hardly ever with those things unless
But
you're driving.
But the tires on all those, because of the weight of the batteries.
Oh yeah, they're super expensive tires.
Yeah, they
Six
are. And
times,
so when you
six
get
to
into the real
times the
specialty shit like the Hummer or some of the big ass, trucks and what have you.
Yeah, but you can justify a Hummer because I know the street you live on, right? Like if I lived on a street that was on that kind of angle, like your house
Yeah,
is in
yeah,
me, right? Where, like
yeah,
if I lived on a house like that, like yeah, I'd invest in that because I don't want my car to go down the hill when it fucking snows.
yeah, yeah. When it snows here, what do you call it?
Just get
Cabin
the ice skates out,
fever.
right? You don't
Yeah,
even
you can't get
bother
out.
toboggan and the
Yeah,
sled dogs.
the angle of yeah, you can't get out.
Or
I have a
your
four-wheel drive.
the sled English bulldog or
Yeah,
whatever his breed is.
yeah,
You have a very cute dog.
yeah. She's a real knucklehead. So.
I was just saying, I was just going through all my seeds. I ran into your Pacololo and your some of the one crossed with I think it was the one Donnie Burger is the other one that I have that has some eugenics in it.
Yeah. The Pacalolo, those seeds actually came out. They came out better than I thought they would. The things lined up. I haven't heard anything negative other than the usual from clowns that think everything should look like a Northern Light plant.
When I popped them the first time, they were very bushy. They had kind of smaller sized leaves, very
Right. Real
bushy. They
thin.
prayed all the time, and
Yeah.
really good node spacing, like very dense node spacing.
One of here, I'll show you a picture. Let me dig it up real quick. Um, this was last summer, not last year's, but last. Okay, so this one all right, let me see how I do this. So I got to go back into Zoom and then I do share screen, right? I'm going to do another way. Hold on. I'm going to paste it in and that's what I'll do. Okay. I'll paste it in the chat room here. And then somebody can put it up. Okay, there you go. If you could post that for me, Wes. I just wanted Chris to see it. And also Steve, because he grew some seeds from the same seed group.
Nice. Yeah, that is very similar
Yeah.
structure. Your leaves are a little bigger than the ones that we had in Thailand, but that could have just been because we were in
weather,
Thailand.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, those are really
yeah.
dense.
Which one is this one?
The one seeds I made, it's the one crossed with Pacalolo, which is a
Holy.
How come I haven't grown your seeds yet? I've known you for like how many years? 3 years now, and I haven't grown your gear.
I don't know, I gave away at least 4,000.
I have
How
some
do you
Chris
get?
here. When we get together, I'll give you some Pacololo.
Oh hell yeah!
See, the
Oh
Pacalolo
yeah.
was the name of a friend of mine. It was one that they created back in the 70s. And it Acapulco Gold, a Thai, and a Sri Lanka. And so we crossed that with the one, which is a Highland Thai crossed with a Kandahar Afghani. But anyway, so there's what you're. Look at the size.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Is that like a 200-gallon or something? 150-gallon? 200-gallon
No,
pot?
that's 600, either
600
600
gallon?
or 800. And figure 200 gallons is a yard. So if you're doing 600 gallons, that's 3 yards. That's a pallet and a half of bags of soil. So
Yeah.
800 gallons is 2 pallets full. I'm rounding it off, but that's generally.
Okay. I'm experimenting with the zoom in the backgrounds and stuff. I'm not used to the backgrounds. I was downloading some videos and on there and putting the different pictures. It's different. How many people can you have on the Zoom?
On mine, I can have
100 or more.
50 with my.
And they use it for corporations. And I know, like here, if you get a traffic violation,
Yeah.
and you take a class so you can get it off your record and all that horse shit, it's all done with a Zoom meeting. So you're taking a driving class with 50, 60 people, whoever signed up for that particular episode or broadcast, whatever. I was just on one that was a training international, because they had some participants from Europe and Asia and today, and they had close to 205 attendees. Not everyone had their cameras on. In fact, I would say less than probably 25%. But the placeholder had their name if they wanted to, on that level. So it's not the software that limits it. It's how are the classes set up, or the presentation, or whether it's an interview or whatever.
Your subscription tier for Zoom. So like on mine, I can have, I think, 250 or 1,000 or 500 or whatever the fuck the limit is, 200, whatever it is. And there's different tiers. There's this account, which is Dat Smoke Show's account, but then I have one for Potent Phonics that I use for my other business too. And that one, I think we have 1,000 limit on that one. So it just depends on how much you're paying.
I think it's 1,000 in the room, and I think it's 200 on video.
Yeah.
Something like is that. This a classroom you're saying, or what are you saying, that you can have 1,000 people in the
like in a meeting.
Yeah.
It could be like a presentation, a sales meeting. It could be
in the meeting itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. How it works is Zoom broadcasts to YouTube as a third-party app, and then so I could also have it like if I used what's the name of the website, split stream. or live the one that you use, Streamlabs or some of the other ones.
Yeah, no, StreamYard.
But
StreamYard. You could have
like
it
the other
streamed to
day, I
that.
did one with my brother, who's in North Carolina, and our cousin who lives in Sydney, Australia. And it was through Zoom, but it wasn't through YouTube.
Yeah.
Just it was a Zoom setup.
Yeah.
And actually, we all had. I mean, I used an iPad with a camera, but it doesn't matter what you use. Whatever runs Zoom. If it runs Zoom, then you have a camera that can either part of the device or you can attach it. Then you're gold. I mean, you can do them on your phones if you want.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
you could stream Zoom to like StreamYard and then stream to Twitch and Rumble and Odyssey and
TikTok.
YouTube all at the same time. Yeah.
Uh,
I've been trying to back up all my stuff on Rumble because like at some point Google's gonna get a little too tyrannical with the censorship, I think, especially under Trump, and I need to have everything backed up because I
do you think
almost
that?
I was down to 2 or 3 of 4 strikes on my YouTube channel at one point before I got them all taken off my account. And
What do you think is doing it? What do you think's
so,
giving you the strikes?
so it's always been seed breeders that link their websites. So if I put in like that's why I stopped doing guest websites in my chat anymore in my description.
Good idea.
That's why it had to do with people selling seeds. So when I did the very first aquaponic cannabis conference, I almost lost my account because we had a bunch of breeders on during that conference and they all had their breeder website linked directly in the chat. And I got pegged for each time it was in there. So like I literally had to like
And he
freeze
had
and
he
take
ended up
everything
the
down.
show with, you ready for this? Dr. Warnock from the folic acid people, BioAg.
Dr. Faust.
And then me. We weren't selling anything. That was funny.
Oh yeah. Dr. Faust. They had BioAg, Mammoth P, and Breeder Steve, I think, were the 3 that they pegged on that first conference.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
I
the
was
dumbest
laughing
shit.
at
And
some
like
people who were really greasing the skids, man. They had the rap down, you know.
what pisses me off is if you have a link up for more than 90 days, they shouldn't be allowed to tag it. Like I had stuff that was up for 4 or 5 years and then they randomly had a problem with it. And it's like, so it took you multiple years to suddenly think this is a
Yeah.
problem. Like clearly the link isn't the problem here. Like you're the problem. Like that's what pisses me off is like I could have something that's not been an issue for years and years, and then suddenly it pegs
Well,
my
here's what I
account.
want to know. Since you're on the West Coast,
Yeah.
and there's not all that much difference between Southern Oregon and Northern Cal.
Yeah.
If you're over on the coast and you want to go to Grants Pass, you got to go down through Humboldt.
Mhm.
You know, what was that Pacific Highway, the Redwood
Yes.
Highway, whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's about as legal as it's going to get compared to any other place in the United States, I would say. I mean, it's pretty much wide open.
Yeah. And
yet, when it went legal here a few years ago, less than 10%, less than 5% of the grocery stores that were open the day that it went legal are still in business. That's how many closed down.
Oh yeah. Normally it's a 70 to 80% attrition rate for dispensaries.
Is that right? It's in your area too?
No, I'm talking about like doesn't matter what market you're in. So for instance, in Colorado it was 70%, in Oklahoma it was 80%.
Wow.
And I'm talking to people that survived 3 years. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like so many people open
So
and
what's
they
your
have no idea
compensated
how cannabis industry works, or they have no idea how to grow, or they
No.
have
Yeah, I'm hoping it's bad
they
weed.
don't understand like a key piece of the puzzle, or they think that like, oh, it's
So
weed,
Chris-
so we just print money because
Isn't
I
that-
watched weeds before and I see how
Yeah,
like
yeah. That's what I'm hoping it is. Please let it be that.
these like
Chris, you
suckers
gotta
have
get real.
numbers in their head for what they're gonna sell it.
Quality is not a metric any
Yeah.
longer. It's not even
Okay.
necessary. The majority of sales are pre-rolls
Yep.
and carts. How good does it have to be?
Yep.
You grind it up, you hit it with some terps, make it whatever fucking flavor you want,
Yep.
and just run the piss out of it. And Johnny,
I'd punch somebody. They try to put terps on my weed. I will punch somebody in the nose. Don't you be putting terps on my weed. I want it, just
Well, that's
fucking
something.
roll them up.
That's
Roll
something
up and
the general
normal.
public doesn't even realize that they can spray terps on the weed. Like that, there's so much that like the industry people know that like the
I
consumers are
will
clueless
swear to
on.
God, if I find out that you fucking spray terps on my fucking joint that I smoke, I'm
I
gonna
don't.
punch you when I find you.
The only time I use added terps, I will use linalool for seizure medications for pediatric patients because I need the ratio to be right. But it's still cannabis derived. It's not
Yeah.
Okay, Chris,
terpenes. But
here's
they are.
another one. This you don't have to spray anything on it. That's the TO right there.
Oh, speaking of which, Skunk Man
Oh
sent me
yeah.
today. I don't know if Coot heard.
Yeah, he died yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I figured you two probably ran into each other at some point.
yeah.
Another.
Yeah, look at that. That looks nice, dude. That looks solid. Those buds look solid, dude.
Yeah.
I'll be wanting to smoke some of that. So if you want to
Good.
bring some to me.
No, that's good smoke. That like shakes your dick off and stuff.
Yeah, no, it looks good. I like it. Oh wait. What?
Cooking up anything there currently there, Coot?
What's that?
You growing anything currently?
No, I got last year was such a successful year for outdoor people that I had helped. And their what do you call it? Well, in the mafia, they call it getting your beak, wet your beak. So I have I mean, like half-gallon jars, just
There you go.
a whole closet full of. Yeah,
Got a wine rack full of weed.
just stupid. I couldn't smoke that much.
We can try.
That's one thing I'm stoked about moving into my long-term house here in a couple of weeks, in a month or two, is I'll be able to set my wine rack up again and set up a china, have all the bongs in the china hutch, and have the wine rack right next to it with 1 gallon jars of different weed and like.
Are you making it a home up there? Are you planning on staying
up here?
Forever place?
I don't know about forever, but certainly while the
For the
kids
time being, place.
Oh, well,
yeah,
I hope, dude, because
years while the kids young at least.
What's that? No matter where you're at, where you go, that's where you're at. Something like that.
yeah, where you lay your head is home.
I did see though Malaysia is going to be legalizing this year. So if anyone's looking for fun chocolate, you can do a lot worse.
I'm gonna be 74 in a few weeks. So
there you go, Coot. You and the missus can go sit on the beach in Malaysia.
This whole time I thought you were 62.
No, I'm old. Really old. So
I have this guy on my show that is 76. Joe, you know.
Wayne Justman last Wednesday just turned 80. He's medical patient -- 1. He's been on my show 3 or 4 times.
How old was David Watson? Wasn't he close to? He had to be at least 4 or 5 years older than me, so it'd be close to 80.
I read 74, but I could be wrong.
Okay, well, okay.
He had emphysema. He had emphysema, right? What do you have?
Well, Neville did, didn't he?
Neville's still alive. Isn't he?
No.
No, I don't think so.
No.
No, Neville died of cancer, liver cancer.
Who was it that they said someone died recently and then he was alive?
Oh, that was Indra.
Indra. I'm sorry. I'm mixing up Neville and Indra. We both have weird names.
And he's still alive.
Yes, Indra was reported dead and then turned up alive a couple weeks ago. Sorry, wrong stoner.
That's what I. That's why I had this pin. Where did it go? How do I do it? There we go. So I changed my to choose my virtual background.
Share
So I
the.
had this one for him.
There you go. Yeah, they're doing a tribute to Sam this week on Dash Church.
Yep. Yeah, good.
Has Coot been on House Church? I was curious.
Chad?
Have you been on
Well,
House?
Coot, you could be on Ash Church if you want.
I
I'm pretty
guarantee
sure.
Coot could be on Hash Church, but I feel like
I'm retired. I could give a fuck less. You know, I watched this thing go from over 50 something years now to being something unique to now it's just a manufactured in a factory somewhere in a cart so you can click. This is really good. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. And the rest of your shit, your gummy bears and your, excuse me, your medibles. And
Oh,
what was it? I went to one thing. It was Dayglow Green. It was CBD beer. Fuck you. CBD beer.
I will just take a little bit of Fico, a little spoonful of Fico, and put it on a cookie and eat that sucker.
the worst name ever.
Uh, fully extracted cannabis
Yeah.
oil.
I gotta give you some powder.
Yeah, watch out to not have some fully extracted fecal matter.
Here's an idea. How about growing really good weed? Grow
Oh
really
yeah,
good weed, and then you don't have to go
That's
through all
hard.
the bullshit about, well, I gotta do
yeah.
this.
So a lot of people. I don't know if well, I don't need to tell you. You probably already know. The only time I ever use Fico right here. Only time I ever use this, of course, when you use the background, Chris, you can't see stuff. So take the background off. Virtual background, none. The only time I ever use the Fico is if I'm in extreme pain. Because to
Sorry,
me,
what's that term you're using? I'm not familiar.
fully
Fico is
extracted cannabis oil.
Oh, okay.
ethanol extraction. It's
Okay.
a
Yes.
RSO, basically RSO.
Yeah, but it's RSO is Rick Simpson
Well,
oil, which he wasn't the person
all
who
right,
created. He's
here's
the one
the
who
best
copied it out of
analogy.
a book.
Here's the best analogy I can come up with. Okay. So alcohol is alcohol is alcohol. Now,
Yes.
you can get alcohol in a shit beer. You can get alcohol in an artisan beer. You can get alcohol in mountain, some shit, pop wine, or you can get a nice bottled wine and a state bottled Burgundy or what have you, right? Well, that's my view on cannabis. You can have really, really nice buds, and there's a whole complex flavor. There's a complex compounds that are going to have different effects on you physically and mentally. Or you can just go for one, concentrate it down, kind of like Everclear.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
they can compare Everclear with a fine Bordeaux, are they?
I
So
hope not.
but why isn't cannabis
I would
just come down to
honestly I would compare
this
Everclear
one
to THCA.
terpene, THC. That's the only one that matters. The rest of it, fuck that, man. That's my view on it.
Yeah. It's so funny that you were talking about good taste in weed. I had some I don't I
It's
had
not just
something.
flavor. How about complexity?
Oh yeah,
The
yeah. Oh, I had some because you were talking about flavors, and it actually the flavor stuck in it, and it was some cherry limes cross, and it actually stuck in there. And when I would eat the Fico, it tasted just like that cannabis. It was weird. I never thought that the flavor would stay so strong in it.
Well,
It
yeah.
was that wasn't just like because I would think it would just be like a water hash. You know what I mean? Where
No.
like how it kind of loses some of the terpenes and everything, you know, and it'd be gone, and it would just taste like a water hash, to where it just tastes like hash. But no,
But
it actually tasted like the freaking plant. It was a trip.
that's the word that just irritates the living fuck out of me. Hash. Because what is sold in Oregon, excuse me, on the West Coast, under that four-letter word hash, has
Yeah.
nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with hashish,
Yes.
Central Asia. Nothing.
Yeah.
Even fucking close.
Yeah. Hash is a
An
encompassing well
ancient
encompassing
process.
word.
I
It's an
know.
encompassing word.
Yeah, it's like
Like
sandwich. Okay. It can be
exactly. It's
anything
like
it's whatever you want it to
it's a
be.
concentrate. It's a
Right.
concentrate.
Right. Okay.
Hashish. Now you say hashish. If you say hashish, I'm thinking something charo, like something rubbed. You know, I'm thinking
Exactly.
something like that's got some skin cells in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it tastes
This
like the
also
person who
has the
made it.
complexity. When you look at a well-formed bud outdoors
Yeah.
in the sun, it's
Hmm.
got constant air moving around it. So the thing was a living entity, like it was supposed to be, not some weird fucker's idea about how to grow weed in a barn. Okay.
Mm.
And you take that and the resin that comes off that is
Hmm.
far, far different than it is off the mono flavored shit that's being grown in a factory under lights.
Oh
That's
yeah, I
all.
agree.
I was just gonna ask you, Coot, because I think you're probably one of the only people aside from me, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, who's had charas before, right?
Mhm.
I mean,
What is
that's
your
all that we've ever
rosin?
had though prior to '96
So what's your
was
opinion
Charos.
on rosin versus charas? Because I feel like charas has more flavor, it has more
Yes, I agree. I
steadiness to it
completely,
than rosin
I
does.
Exactly.
I don't know, like
more
function.
hallucinogenic effect, more heady effect.
Right,
Eh,
because there's more. Look, it isn't just THC that is giving you the psychoactive and physical and other manifestations, right? So when you have going to concentrate something in the form of the way Steve's talking about, it's less processed. Okay, it's like the difference between raw processed and ultra processed. And where you come down is what level of convenience you want, I suppose. But there's no way that the shit that's this mono one or two or three maybe terpenes or terpenoids in this product that they're spraying or making a gummy out of or whatever the fuck they're doing with it.
mhm.
Then the thing that's made up of, 100, 150 different terpenes and terpenoids. There's just no fucking way. It's good advertising. I've been listening to it now since 1985 when, the first high time stop in Amsterdam.
But I think this is part of it though. So like I have a R134A extractor. I'm probably one of a dozen people in the United States that has one. I built mine from scratch. I designed it from scratch. But the cool thing about hydrofluorocarbons is they don't destroy ethanol bonded compounds. So we can actually extract ethanol bonded cannabinoids. So there's a whole group of alcohol bonded cannabinoids that are never spoken about in traditional extraction because unless you're doing dry sift or bubble hash and talking about just those two products, not rosin, because rosin cooks them off, you don't have those ever. And I think that's the difference,
Exactly.
at least my understanding between charas and rosin is that you're getting those alcohol bonded cannabinoids that get cooked off in that process.
That's correct. It's just like if we took, let's put it into food. Okay. You go out and you pick a ripe, say a tree fruit, peach. You use that one as an example, and you eat it. That has a whole different effect on your body, your gut microbiome, right? Because there's fiber, there's all kinds of what's agents in plants that we need to keep our brain alive and what. Or you take it and you cook it down in a factory and extract it. Now we have peach flavor concentrate, natural flavor. I mean, there's no comparison in terms of nutritional value, a benefit to your body, to your well, just your overall health.
Oh yeah, I could eat a peach for hours.
Exactly. But you couldn't drink peach cola for half an hour. See the difference?
No.
One will fill you up and give you like what's the word for when you're full? Satiety or
Yeah, satiated. Satiated?
satiated. Thank you. Okay, you're never going to get satiated off of fizzy sugar water.
No, you
Okay,
get
but
belches.
yeah, you eat real food and you're going to feel full, and plus you're going to feed your body with the chemicals that it needs.
Oh man, I got a peach story.
That
So,
right
so
before
I used to go up to.
your right before
Okay, go.
your hash story, I just wanted to. Someone in chat brought up finger hash is like charas. I just wanted to
Yes.
mention that your story.
And
Yeah.
the hamburger stuff that you would find it from the Saudis in India, they would actually just rub the resin off the colas on the side of the road, and they in the palm of their hands just keep
Yeah.
rubbing it with the other thumb and turn it into balls and sell the balls for like $1.
Well, yeah, I would agree with everything everybody's saying. Also, you got to think about. You guys are talking about people's biomes. You got to think about the biome and the what the person that is making the charo making it. His biome is being added to that hash.
That's right.
So you don't know what that's doing to the psychoactive properties of the psychoactive chemicals in there, how it's reacting
Look,
to it. So who knows?
let's take something that I know a lot about, and that's baking bread.
Mm-hmm.
I could give everybody who wanted to the exact same flour, the exact same water, the exact same salt, and the yeast. And you'd be lucky to find 2 loaves and out of that 100 people that were even close to being the same. I'm not even getting into quality yet. We're not even there yet. We're talking about the process of putting a skill that goes back 7,500 years of the human race. It's only been the last 100 that people decided in the West that they weren't going to make something that basic bread. You're gonna have to buy it. It's already sliced. You ever heard that expression, better than sliced bread? That was the marketing phrase 100 years ago in the mid-20s, 1920s, when the bread slicer was first invented.
Oh no way! I want a bread slicer, dude, for reals.
Oh, you can buy them now. They're not expensive. Yeah, go to breadtopia.com. They got everything.
Yeah, one of the ones that are like the that you put up on the thing
Yeah,
like this, and it goes and
right.
fucking go.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the one I want. One of those. They'll
So
cut any bread.
you got a lot of money to piss away.
Yeah, no, but dude, the bread that you want to eat, it cuts that bread. You know what I mean? Oh,
All right,
man,
wait a minute. Let me show you what we had for dinner tonight.
I love bread.
Okay, this was my wife baked this today.
Sorry, Steve,
Hold on a second here.
about the
This
bread
is
talk. This is horrible.
this is all this is water, salt,
I like
yeast,
cornbread.
and flour. Yeah,
Cornbread's
cornbread.
awesome, dude. I love, dude. I could kill a whole pan of cornbread for reals. Throw some
Well,
honey on that.
let me tell
Throw
you
some
another way
butter,
of doing
honey.
it. Okay, so those
Oh,
those kinds of breads are made are
it's
chemically.
horrible. It's horrible. It tastes horrible, Steve.
Hmm.
Don't even look at it. It's horrible. It's not as good as it looks. I swear it tastes so bad.
Oh, I
It's
Wes,
it.
I'm sorry, I put a picture of bread on the chat room.
Oh yeah, no,
Stuff.
he's got it up there.
Fun because I can't eat bread. That's all.
What happened to my thing? I can't see it.
Oh, you can't see it. It's right
Your
there.
bread is on the screen right now. That's what they're
Yeah, your
talking.
bread's right on the screen. It is. It looks horrible. It looks so horrible. Horrible. Don't even look at it, Steve. Don't even look. Yes. Yes, it's
It's
beautiful.
amazing. The other day I sent Coot pictures of. I was all proud to send Coot pictures of the bagels me and the wife made, and Coot immediately sent back like better versions of the exact same thing.
I love it. Is everybody else getting the reverb on him?
Yeah,
That
Wes,
was
you
awesome.
are echoing something fierce to no one else.
I love it. That was pretty awesome.
Two active mics or something.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Not bad. I mean, for such a simple food. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
there isn't even a dollar's worth of ingredients there.
yeah. It looks awesome. But not really, Steve. Seriously, don't even look at it. Stop looking.
You could
Yeah,
be
it's
about where Steve lives, but in Portland, that's minimum $7.50 to $9 a loaf for a loaf that size. That's a pound and a half.
Like
Uh,
$7 a fucking carton for eggs, that's for sure.
yeah, Costco is out. I mean, they sell pallets of eggs. I think it's 2 dozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, 24 egg.
What this means, it's fucking proof that Trump is a chicken fucker.
Hmm.
Why else did all the chickens suddenly go missing as soon
I'm
as he
just
takes office?
hey, all I
Okay,
can say
unrelated.
It
is
makes sense.
if
Trump
it's a
Unrelated.
warm
cover.
is it a wormhole? I think he would stick it in it.
Unrelated to human health, several months ago, the vet told my wife, because our dog had skin irritation, signs of skin irritation. And the vet told her to get her off a chicken-based kibble. That there's evidence of problems out there in the dog world of dogs eating a more natural, chicken-based. Look, dog food already is shit. I mean, come on.
Oh
If we
yeah.
can feed humans right, imagine what we do to animals.
Uh, yeah, so I got fear mongered out of feeding my puppy like I want to make my own dog food.
Yeah,
Uh so I got fear mongered into making sure that I feed him the kibble that they gave us
of course.
and so but I also feed him this freeze dried salmon and chicken
Uh-huh.
uh that's it's called Steady Eddie or hold on, let's see what the hell is it called? I'll tell you what it's called. And that's all it is this freeze dried salmon and chicken.
Is it called the wild?
No, no, no. It's
Hmm.
It's in a red bag.
Oh,
I feed
Here,
Taste.
it's right here.
I feed Taste of the Wild for my dog for their kibble, but they get meat and veggies every day separate from that.
yeah.
It's called Stella and Chewy's. Stella and Chewy's.
Let me look it up online real quick. Because they got a lot of foo-foo shops here. What's the name again?
Stella and Chewy.
Stella and Chewy's. Right here.
Oh,
I
here
think
it is.
you can find a
Right
local.
up.
Sure.
Yeah.
You can find a local.
Stella and Chewy's.
Oh, okay. I
Make
think I've seen
friends
that
with
at
the
one of the
local.
stores.
Make friends with the local butcher, and you get all kinds of good organ meat. And just mix that with the right amount of veggies.
Yeah. They were saying that you have to because they say the heart is just basically meat. They say that you have to give them a certain amount of liver because that's different. And any of the other organs, you have to make sure that you don't give them too many of a certain organs because of too many minerals or whatever.
Yeah. No, mine get a different organ each day, and then they get veggies with it.
Yeah, but
Spoiled.
they can eat as much heart as they want.
Then I get them the manager special meat all the time too, especially tilapia.
Oh man. Oh man.
I took him to the river the other day up in Trinity, and they were chasing the fucking coho. I didn't realize there was still coho coming in.
I live right on the Clackamas, well, not on the river, but within quarter mile as a bird flies. And there's a lot of fishermen out there trying to get on the spring, the spring runs.
Yep. It's that time of year.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Hedgehogs have been in season, black trumpets, mushrooms.
Oh, is that right?
I don't know if you do mushroom hunting. This is the cheat sheet, especially the mushrooms and this one are very temperature sensitive. You
Yeah.
get a digital meat thermometer and you stick it 2 or 3 inches in the soil when you find your target mushroom, and you measure the trigger temperature of that mycelium of like what the fruiting temperature is. And then like in that area, it's within a small range of that. So you can immediately know if you're early or late or on
Oh,
time.
wow.
It saves you a lot of
So
time.
so when I lived up in Humboldt, that was one of my favorite things to do is go look for mushrooms.
It is so
Oh,
relaxing.
yeah.
It is like so
Foraging's real big up here too. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 mycological societies, and they have like weekend foraging. They get a certified, guide, and
yeah.
you're allowed under I don't know if it's state or federal law, a 5-gallon bucket worth of mushrooms a day. That's your limit.
Nice.
So
They
most
say unless you're 100% sure, then don't eat it.
right.
well,
That's
depends
why
on mushrooms too.
they don't just say take you out there and go, well, there's mushrooms out here. I mean, you got a guide knows,
It depends
Well, there's
too,
an
right?
old expression too about mushrooms. Every mushroom can be eaten. Now, some you don't get a second chance.
No,
You know?
Every mushroom is
you
edible.
don't get to say things.
So your so unless you're picking like agaricus, like white mushrooms, like the white guild
Yeah.
mushroom,
Yeah.
you're pretty much not gonna mix them up with anything particularly bad. Like
Right.
there's 4 mushrooms in the US that can kill you. All the other ones will
Angel
just make
death.
you toilet or some other unpleasant thing for like 8 to 12 hours, but they're not too bad. So
Have
Had
you
me
watched the
the
documentary Fantastic Fungi?
I have, yes.
yes,
Okay.
many times. Wonderful movie.
Yeah. We bought it so we'd have it here.
Didn't he get an Oscar award?
Probably. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it did. Yeah, it's wonderful.
The
I
other
loved
good
it.
thing, if you're into mushroom hunting and you're wanting to learn, iNaturalist is really good for learning your local mushrooms. You can also see like if you find a mushroom, you should be able to find it, and also you can see when the time of year people picked it. So you know if you find a mushroom that looks like that, picked at that time of year in your
I got a
area.
little problem.
Yeah.
I had a stroke last April. I have to I have a walking stick. I'm not sure I'd be very good out foraging mushrooms
Oh yeah.
anymore.
Get you a motorized wheelchair. You'd be closer to
Yeah,
the
there
ground.
you go. Yeah,
Like,
one like a tractor,
right.
you know, big ass wheel.
You have another stroke, it'll just drive you home. You know, you got
Yep.
this.
Yeah, I still get out there and I do my hour walking every day. So
Well, they had I don't know if you ever saw Winnebago Man. You're familiar with Winnebago Man, the guy that like curses and screams. He used to be the guy that he like loses his mind and with frustration when he was filming the Winnebago VHS tapes they used to make. It, anyways, they made a there's a viral video of him losing his mind, which was the very first viral video. The
yeah,
editor for the Winnebago tapes made a highlight reel of all of him, like the bloopers of him like losing his mind, and then that got copied from video rental store to video rental store, and it kind of became like a viral video, but like a viral VHS video that just got copied a million times. So this found footage guy hunted him down and made a documentary called Winnebago Man. And they tried to find him, couldn't find him here. He retired to Mount Shasta, and the guy had written like a whole manifesto and like how to fix the government. And the guy was a bit of a nutter, but he was like not a mean guy. He's just a bit of an oddball. So they hunted him down. The guy ended up having a stroke while they're filming it, and they used the money from the documentary to pay for his medical bills and like set him up for like long-term medical treatment with the profits from the movie and all that. And it starts off on this weird like wild goose chase to find this guy, and ends up this heartwarming tale of them using the documentary to fund this guy's life being like, but you know, him getting his health care he needed and all this kind of stuff. And he ended up losing his house in a wildfire, and the internet, like because of the documentary, bought him a new home. Like they crowdfunded him like $400,000 or $500,000 to buy him a new home. And like it's just funny
get
to
it
see
back.
this guy's like frustration at working for Winnebago end up like blessing him later in life, like 30, 40 years later. Like just watching the whole circle of karma and the whole thing of making this guy making so many people laugh, him thinking
I
everyone hates
I
him and
know
mocking the
exactly.
world.
I
And
just went on there right now and seen exactly what you were talking about. I know a very famous dude. Yes, dude. I was like, what is he talking about? Yes,
but if
Winnebago
you've
Man.
never seen it, it's a great documentary. It'll make you laugh and the whole time, and it's a very good like. There's a good ending with like a real life story on the guy being helped out, and it started off as this wild found footage like quest to find this man.
What is this on?
I bought it on YouTube. It's one of that
I just
and
seen it. It was just showed me on it on YouTube too. So that's it. Hmm.
Hey,
So
Mike,
that's only available on YouTube.
I don't
you
know where else you could find it.
you think in general YouTube is kind of like different than it was a year ago, even? Or have the good creators just like gone off and done something else?
I don't, a lot of them got censored during COVID, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So this is the movie I'm talking about, just so that people
Yeah,
they just
okay. Yeah, I've seen that come up and I've never clicked on it, so now I will.
it is a wonderful documentary. I think you can rent it on YouTube for like $1 or $2. But
Even if you're I have an account that's soon to be terminated. I don't see any value there anymore. Because here's another thing. I have the software that, okay, so let's say you find a video that's a legitimate video, not one of these, shit storms, but say a legitimate conversation between two or three people. So you take the URL and you put it into this AI called Whisper, and it transcribes it in like less, and seriously, in less than 90 seconds. And now you got the whole transcript, so you can read it, skim it, and then have AI summarize it for you and list the main points, so you don't have to sit there and suffer through a 2 hour video with all the breaks and the advertising and what have you. So that's pretty cool, and that's free because YouTube can't control it, or Google can't control it. So anybody can copy a link and paste it in
This is
another
the
app and do something with it.
this is the other show that I own all 3 seasons of on YouTube. Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia. It's because it's worth it. They're interesting. I watch them with friends and stuff. But if you've never watched it, it's good.
Uh-uh.
And then I own The Sound of Noise, which is a weird document, like audio movie about drummers. And what's the other one? I Dream of Wires. And
Steve, you're more active than I don't want to be involved anymore, but like, what about Discord? Are there still a lot of cannabis shows on there? Or
oh
venues?
yeah, in fact,
Okay.
on Duke's, I'm on Duke Diamond. He has one, and I'm on there. But Duke Diamonds is great. I mean, Gypsy's on there, and a bunch of the old fucking
Gypsy Nirvana?
Overgrow people. Yeah.
Really?
Overgrow people, like a lot of the old Overgrow
Yeah,
heads
yeah.
are on there on Fridays. And then like
Well,
different days of the week, there's a different one that's popular.
didn't Build a Soil put together a Duke Diamond soil, I think, or
I have
something?
no idea on that.
Yeah.
Dukes
He
is really
still
good
sells the
though,
gnarly
'cause
barley thing, so.
Dukes is one of the old ones that I make time for on Friday nights. I usually pop on there at least for a little while on every Friday night.
Well, you know what? I don't want to name any names, but there's this one breeder that's not with us anymore. He's did the big passing. And here's my point. This is all you got to talk about 5 years later. Who's got the best, strange this guy may or may not have created. I mean, I think it's pathetic. Get a fucking life, I mean, it's just weed.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, a lot of it too is that like a lot of like so we're all blessed enough that we've been in it a long time and we've heard all the different stories and things. And you have this new generation that's just only been exposed to dispensary weed, right? So they don't know anything about the culture there,
Mm.
or the crazy stories or the funny, weird stories, or like how
Yeah.
many stories do each of us know on weed that would make amazing movies?
Yeah.
Right? Like think about like what if someone made like a dramatized version of like Dennis Peron's story of weed legalization in the United States, like with his stuff in Vietnam and the police raids and the Proposition P, and then the officer fucking him complimenting like him being dead to rights with like 67 pounds of weed or whatever it was, and then him complimenting the arresting officer's shoes and the arresting officer threatening to kill him in front of the judge that was supposed to fucking do the case and the media, right? Like so many crazy things happen for us to even like get to this conversation that we're having right now and having legal weed. Like someone needs to make that as like a dramatized like Narcos style.
Hey,
Like
this wasn't that serious, but the night, okay, so December 31st, 72 or 73, when California decriminalized weed. January 1, the new year was when the law went into effect. It had already passed, right? And you know how they do that. Okay, so it's New Year's Eve and it's Huntington Beach, so you know that what that place is like. Parties fucking everywhere, right there at Coast Highway and Highway 39. And the cops come about 9 o'clock and say, we got some complaints from neighbors, you guys need to kind of tone it down. And so they do. and they quiet things down. But everyone's drinking, and God knows what. Cocaine hadn't really arrived yet, not like it would. So they're still just drinking beer and smoking weed, and the music got louder, and all this shit. And somebody even put the speakers outside, big JBL speakers outside on the lawn, and they got them blaring. And now it's a street party. So now they come back with like 3 squad cars, and they got 2 cops in each car. And now they're pissed off because they got a lot of shit to do. It's New Year's Eve, and my buddy is in the bathroom trying to flush this. No one weighed anything yet. We weren't even there yet. We still called them lids, and he's shaking this weed into the toilet, and flushing it. And this cop busts through the door and he grabs a towel. And as the water's swirling around, he wipes the inside of the bowl and he got a few pieces. And that was the evidence when they went to trial or in front of this judge or the preliminary hearing. And he's looking at the evidence as judge. And by now, it's now decriminalized. And he's looking at this like, we got felony charges here just because you had a bad night, that kind of thing. So anyway, it was pretty comical. This cop, you can imagine how few pieces of weed were on this towel that he's swirling the inside of this commode to get the little bits that are swirling around. Jesus. I mean, I remember people getting busted for seeds in their floorboard of their car. They get pulled over and they've been rolling some doobies. And look, sensimilla, the phrase wasn't even coined until 77. So all that weed that's smoked in the 60s up through 3/4 of the 70s, I mean, Thai sticks was loaded with seeds. I mean, my God, there was no sensimilla Thai sticks. This was a cottage industry out of Thailand. Can you imagine them growing? Like I said, I'm not saying cultures didn't grow seedless weed, but I meant the Spanish phrase, sensimilla and consumilla, with seeds and without seeds. So yeah, you had seeds in your floorboard, you were going to jail.
Well, these kids don't know anything of like I grew up hustling in Philly, right? I'm dealing with
God.
all that stuff and like
Yeah.
other gang members and other
Absolutely.
shit like that, right? Like these kids don't know any of the fucking difficulties and hardships, and then like the culture too. Like I feel like back in the black market days, I could trust people, right? Now in the white market, you can't trust anybody, and like that sucks. You know what I mean? Just from a business standpoint, and
You're
selling
dealing with people that don't even smoke.
Yeah, dispensary owners that don't smoke.
If you're a producer, if you're a producer.
It's like owning a vineyard and not drinking wine. Like, what? Why even own the vineyard?
You got it, man. It's just a commodity. That's all it is. It's a commodity. There's no spiritual side to it. It's about how much THC, Shit, here you go. Go get a 6-pack and a pint of tequila and do shooters for a couple hours. You'll get high.
Right? It's funny. So they just legalized lounges, and we have a product line I've been working on alcohol equivalents, right? So I have powder mix, so you can mix with water or seltzer water, depending on what the drink is. I can make beer, wine, whiskey, Irish whiskey, tequila, like all vermouth, bitters. I have all your normal bar flavors, the full set of flavors, and it's mix and match, and you can buy the whole set for your home bar, but it's all weed, not alcohol. So if you want a non-alcohol equivalent, you can have your dry January set. I don't know. You guys still like that idea? I don't know. Seems like a lot of people are into it. What's
I
that?
had a gummy. I mean, for a diabetic, those things are lethal.
Diabetic, anything that has that diabetic stuff in it, will give you the shits. Like the diabetic chocolate and stuff.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm talking about the stuff you pour with sugar and make and THC, make little like gummy bears.
Yes.
The
Medibles,
gel.
or I don't know, I'm really talking out of school here, but
Yeah.
they're like the German candy invented like 50 years ago. And now they make they're
Like
infused with some
dots,
kind of
like dots, kind of.
no, don't you know I'm talking about the little bears? They're squishy. They
The
look like teddy
Harborough,
bears.
the Harborough
Yeah, right. There
gummies,
you go.
Hey,
Right,
bears. Yeah, yeah.
the Harborough gummy bears.
right.
Those
They were the ones
those
that
things are
created it.
chewy as hell.
Yes. Right. Okay, they're all they are is
The
fucking
jaw
glucose and
workout.
sugar. I mean, my
Yeah.
God, there's nothing there. But so they're really easy to make, and that's one way. If you've got, you can if you grew some bad weed, you remediate it, you get rid of the mold, I suppose, or something, and you bring the flavor back by buying it legally. They'll get you can buy any flavor you want. You want it to taste like whatever this strain, they got a mix for it, and they just spray it on the weed, and then it goes into a grinder, or maybe they grind it first, then they spray it, and then it goes through pre-rolls, a gram a pre-roll. And if you're a producer in Oregon, the prices drop now. You get paid $1.25 a gram, and they come to your place of business with the equipment on a big van, and they process it, and then they you get $1.25 per roll, and that's better than because pounds they're selling pounds. You can go buy a pound for $500, $600.
Well,
Oh
a
shit.
buck 25 is the government price for Uruguay, South America.
Yeah. Now think about this. So let's say that you the customer, you buy a whole pound and you pay $600. That's got to cover the producer. There's a broker because under Oregon law, you can't sell, the producer can't sell direct to the distributor, the dispensary. Now the broker sells to processors. They grade. You know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So how much do you think that the producer, the person or business that grew the weed, how much do you think they get out of that 600?
300, 250, 240.
Yeah. And it's going down every year.
Oh yeah.
Well, Cali prices have gone up a little bit in the last 2 months, 3 months. At least,
Well, all we need to do is be able to ship around the world.
well, that's the thing, right? If we can get Mango Mussolini to legalize and allow exports, then we'll be all right.
I don't know, but think about it. Let's just take one country. There's actually two involved. One's to the north of us and one's to the south. Let's take Mexico. We know that they've been producing at a commercial level cannabis since the late 19th century. Okay. And exploded here because of America's market in the Jazz Age. All right. My point is that they've got a century at least on us of growing marginal weed. That's really tough competition. Think about it. Because the more it legalizes, the quality goes down. You've seen it yourself. When it was black market, you had a motive to grow the best you could because you could get the top dollar. And now that it's legal, you're competing with some clown operation that they got to get the mold off the shit before they can grind it and spray it. But look who you're selling to. I mean, your customers drive your market. I don't care what you're manufacturing for, what you're growing for. I mean, you grow what sells, and let's face it, the bar's been pretty low. You don't have to be good.
Well, and that's the thing is until you have consumer education that understands quality, that's the part that's missing. And if you're launching a cannabis market, the best thing you can put in your dispensary is a classroom so that you can have sessions and teach them, here's the lower quality stuff, here's the higher quality stuff, here's what's worth spending money on, here's the stuff that's kind of garbage. Like if you don't have that, how do you expect your customers to come
You're
in?
right.
Why should I pay? Imagine if you had like fresh frozen like rosin, right? Like the highest end price stuff that you can have. It's like 70 to 90 a gram in California. Once in a while, a little bit higher than that. I think most of it now is in the 60, 70 range, but it used to be a little bit higher. If you don't understand why you should buy that, but you have $20 a gram of shatter, that's both of them are a gram and they both open and they smell, decently aromatic. How do you know that why you should buy the one or the other, right? Like if you're just a dumb person that just likes weed, likes getting high, like you maybe you quit drinking alcohol, so now you're switched to weed. Like you don't know why one's better than the other, right? Same way that like a person doesn't know good wine from expensive wine or good to mezcal from shitty mezcal or any number of good tobacco or expensive tobacco. Like if you're not taught like how to read it with your palate or whatever your method for measuring it is, how you're going to know what to spend money on or not spend money on. And so you have to, and that's the point that the cannabis industry keeps missing, right? We don't educate people on how to identify quality. We just tell them, hey, our shit's better. But yeah, well, they're the 3,000th person that told me that their shit's better, right? Like, so people tune you out.
Look,
it's the fire.
Basically, it was 50 years ago that the cannabis thing really got going in the United States. I mean, at a commercial level, okay? And you would bring in, if you had the context, when we did, we brought in loads of, and I'm doing air quotes because they were stamped industrial products of Argentina. So, but supposedly it was Colombian. And I know how to look at a map. Okay, you're not going to, anyway, but it doesn't matter. It was from South America and it was shit. Okay, we paid right around $225 a pound. Okay, and everything was on a front. You had to front it out, and that's the way it worked, 10 pounds at a time. So you would fingerprint them for say $50 a piece. That means just that you're adding on, your piece. So you were getting them out under $300 a pound on the street. And by the time it got to the person who's selling to the crowd that buys an ounce a week, because you got to have it with your cocaine, and disco thing. So it was $50 an ounce.
Yeah.
And you would pay, say you were that street person, maybe $450 a pound. And if you sold all 16, that was $800 on a Friday night. You could make
hell yeah
much. I mean, shit. I was a union teamster, and I only made less than $9 an hour. That was big money. So if you were making that much money on a Friday night,
big money.
And then you took your money, and then you went and bought the premium stuff. You went and bought.
Oh yeah.
Maybe there was like 10 pounds in this guy that could front you a couple tons of Colombian, might have 2 pounds of the kind tie sticks or hand grown, hand manicured, I mean, really the kind. It wasn't on the street. That's this myth that everybody in the 70s was starting out smoking good weed is bogus. the majority of people smoke shit because that's what the market was. They didn't, people don't like, a lot of people don't like being high. I mean, let's just be honest.
Coot, I got a question for you. Where did you grow up at?
Orange County.
Okay, so my parents, you're right around my parents' age. My parents would never take their good weed around out and around and everything. They always had their good weed at home and stuff.
That's
They
right.
always took their swag to go smoke with their friends and
That's right.
to go smoke with people and stuff. So a lot of times the cops, when they busted them, they would be busting them with the swag weed and not the good stuff.
Yep.
But
Hey,
look at him. He's
one thing about good weed is, let me put it in today's money. Okay, then a pound I would sell a pound for 3,200. That's $200 an ounce.
oh
In
yeah.
money, that's over $11,000. Now think about that for a pound. What that proves, when you have a cannabis culture, and there was one in the 70s,
Oh yeah.
that a true cannabis enthusiast is concerned about one thing and one thing only. They want this bowl that they're going to have to be better than the last one. And if you can do that, you'll always be successful. Stoners will pay do the yin yang. I mean, I'm not saying you can sell a lot of it, but there is a market for the really
Oh yeah.
in quality, but you're not going to find it at a dispensary. I'm sorry, with a sign that says $30 an ounce. I mean, blow me. That's 1961 prices.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy because listen, like I would if if somebody tried to offer me for my weed and I'd feel freaking like for the price that weed is going for right now, 5, 6, 7, $800 a pound. If somebody tried to buy that weed from me for that amount, I would tell them to kiss my fucking ass, dude.
And remember,
No
the
way.
dispensary is paying maybe 40% of that to buy it.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I would never never in my life would I ever sell my account. I'd rather give my shit away. I'd rather feel I would feel better in me that I gave it away than to sell it at that price because that's my time, my money, my investment into that I think it's worth way more than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just it's hard for me to want to sell it at that price.
I mean, hey, the first
That's
year,
why we're doing a hybrid model with our stuff. We're doing edibles, we're doing clones, and we're doing flowers so that and processing so that we don't have to worry about, if any one
Right.
market is just not
Hey,
really sustainable, at least we have the full chain.
Chris, the
Yeah.
first year when it went legal here, the
Yeah.
they call it recreational,
Yes.
whatever, versus medical. So when the business plan, that's all it is, a plan, there's no guarantees. The business model would be that they would be able to sell the pounds for $2,400. So the setup was geared around a $2,400, $150 an ounce return. Okay.
Yeah.
In that first year, the harvest, 475, 80% drop. The first year, from here's the projection. We'll get to, pound 2,400 a pound, and here's reality, 475. And you know how investors are, they don't hang around. Well, let's see, maybe
No.
next year will be better. They're off on another adventure. Tennis shoes made out of condoms or something. I mean,
The
that's
craziest
the way it works.
the craziest I've seen the weed prices so far when they onboarded Metric to California. you could buy literally like 50-gallon trash bags full of like nicely trimmed bud,
Yeah.
$25-$30 because it
Yeah.
wasn't registered, like all day long. But I'm talking like these are like 5-8 pound fucking bags.
Right. It's crazy. I mean, think about it. You're from in California in the Sacramento area in the
Yep,
valley.
I am.
Okay. Let's say you want to go
I'm literally in Sacramento
okay.
right now, right next to downtown.
So let's say you hit the lottery and you're going to grow tomatoes. I mean, unless you're living in some la la land, you better have 500 to 1,000 acres in production to make any amount of money because of you've got the Mexican tomato market applying pressure. You've got the products coming out of China, fresh. I'm not talking canned. Fresh tomatoes, pick them green, gas them with ethylene gas, bring on the ripening. So when you hear a cannabis grower, well, I can only get this amount of money. I'm thinking, do you know what the going price for a pound of tomatoes is on the international market? Because that's what you're up against.
Yeah.
First of all, every state that's been legal is up against states that are turning legal, like Ohio. We had Ohio flip this in the last election, not this one, the one before. See what I mean? More and more states are bringing it on. That just suppresses the price. More legalization, and I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm not putting a value judgment. I'm just stating the fact. The more production you have, that's basic econ 101. The more production you have, the lower the price. We haven't considered Canada and Mexico yet. They've been doing hemp up there for decades. They've got it down. In fact, many of the technologies that are employed by American cannabis recreational producers borrow heavily from the techniques and the science created by ProMix. Premier Horticulture is the name of the parent company, but ProMix is the brand, the street name for their product line. Like when you go buy microbes, the mycorrhizal products, all that. Well, the ingredients are handled by about 3 or 4 companies, and 2 of them are in Canada. They actually produce the goddamn fungi that goes in. So it doesn't matter what brand you buy. So, just if you go buy like the very brand that goes into White Shark, that particular product, it costs what, $450 a pound. The wholesale price is $11.50, but it doesn't have a shark on it. And a stupid idiot with a white coat, and he's a doctor, Dr. Fuzznuts, Turd Blossom.
So I saw you were smoking out of your aluminum pipe. So I
Yeah.
grabbed mine. Check it out. Here's mine right here. Mine opens up like this so you can clean it.
Wow.
Yeah, it opens up like that.
Yours is
Magnet one.
This isn't engineered.
Yeah, this is made in USA by a dude in Southern California. He does the machines that do this, and so he was making these and stuff. He sells them for like $150 for this like setup right here.
He sells a bowl for bongs too. I've seen those in shops.
Yeah, dude. It's fucking cool. There's two things there that just so you guys know, if you get this, 2 things, and the 2 things are in the cold. It's freaking cold. Okay.
What's cool?
All right. This thing's cold as hell. Like
Oh,
if it's like sitting out in the car, sitting out in whatever, and it's cold outside, you pick this thing up, it's freezing cold.
right.
All right. And then when it's hot. So if
Yeah.
you got this out in the sun, if you're on the beach, because this is what I plan on for my beach pipe, because in California you can't have any glass on the beach. And if I'm gonna get busted with weed, I'm not gonna get busted with weed with the glass bowl also.
So,
So
okay, here's the I don't know what they did with because I give a shit less about the law. But before it went legal and we had just had the medical thing here,
yeah,
you had to accept, and who couldn't get a medical card? I mean, give me a fucking break.
right.
Okay, but you were limited to 24 ounces on your person. You could have it in your fucking car. You could
I
have it.
mean, dude, I like having a variety.
No, the
Okay,
99, no, the 99
I'm
plant
not
limit.
arguing. I'm just saying that, and then to hear people whine, yeah, you can only have a pound and a half. I'm thinking, fuck you. I mean, I came in when if you got caught with a joint, you were going to be in front of a judge. That's all there was to it. Get busted with a joint in 1967, and you were gonna, what you do heavy time, but you were gonna do some, weekends picking up trash on the freeways or shit like that.
We, we were talking about different stories with um weed volumes and stuff. So I moved down to Half Moon Bay. I was working there at Ouroboros, which actually I have a funny article I can show you guys about the owner. He got arrested for January 6th stuff. Um, anyways, um, I moved into this house there right by Mavericks, like walking distance from Mavericks, actually. I could take
Oh,
my surf.
Maverick Beach.
Yeah, I could take
Yeah.
my surfboard and walk right to the beach there. I mean, it was maybe 10, 15-minute walk, but it was still close enough to where you didn't need a vehicle. Anyways, so I met this lady and I, rented a house from her and rented half the house. I had 2 bedrooms and we shared the kitchen and I had my own bathroom. And I was like, hey, look, my work revolves around weed. Like I smoke weed, I make edibles, like my world is weed. So if this is a problem for you, like I'm upfront about it before I even rent from you. Just, no, I like weed. I smoke weed. It's fine. Da, da, da. So the Dude Grows Cup comes up in Oregon. They had like a hash bash. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna make edibles. Like, is it okay? Are you having any company over that this is a problem? I'm gonna stink the house up for 3 or 4 hours making edibles from my trip going to Oregon. Is this an issue? No, that's fine. Like you do your thing. No worries, no worries. So I have like I don't know 8 or 12 pounds of trim and like popcorn nugs. So I put them in like 1 or 2 pound bags, and I have them like sous vide in a giant stock pot on my stove or on the stove with a sous vide thing and low heat to bring the temperature up quickly to like decarb all of it before I do my extraction on it. And she comes home and I have like 5, 6 pounds of weed. Like it's trim, right? It's not really weed. It's like, but it's more weed than she's ever seen before in her life. She's freaks out. Why do you have so much weed in my house, Doug? This is so much weed. Like, and I was like, no, this isn't that much. We have way more weed in the closet. Like, this isn't that much compared to what I have in the house. Anyway, she couldn't comprehend that, like, with a 99 plant count, like you could have an ungodly amount of weed and it was totally legal and not a problem. And she just could not wrap her head around it. So after a month, she's like, I can't rent to you anymore. I ended up having to move, but it was really funny, like dealing with the whole thing with that. I thought it was funny. She didn't think it was funny.
The most I ever had was in my garage was a ton. And the total load was 6 tons, and other people were responsible for distribution and what have you. So, yeah, there was a lot of sleepless nights till I got that thing distributed. Out there trying to chip away this block of, packed, because they used to pack it with Coca-Cola syrup. They would take any weed. It was marginal. Come on, we're talking indigent people in South America, what do you think they were doing? Like checking the quality and everything. So they would dry it in the sun, and that would give them the brown color. That's why Colombian always had that unique color and flavor, which I found very unpleasant. And then to take the flavor and tone it down, and also for packing reasons, because it would make the thing, when they packed it, they would use Coca-Cola syrup. And so they had these blocks that they would stuff the weed in and put the syrup on it and then tamp down and anyway turn it into bricks. So they were like uniform size. So it made it easier for distribution. You just count how many bricks you were. I don't remember now. I think it was like 5 kilos, something like that per unit. And that's how you were. You had 6 weeks to return either product or money.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one. I interviewed the guy that wrote Tie Stick, and then he changed his
Oh, the
mind.
book? The guy's up in the Bay Area?
He's in Santa Cruz, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Just outside of Santa Cruz.
Yeah, I was in Southern California, that was all the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, the Orange Sunshine Crowd, and
there's somewhere in that area is still a guy that I allegedly got some nice liquid from that area not ultra long ago.
well, it's not discussed and it shouldn't be, but suffice it to say that they're dying off, or most of them have died, but their sons and grandchildren of a lot of not a few there are the founding members of the Brotherhood whose children and grandchildren are keeping the counterculture alive, but they watched it. There's no, well, it's Orange County, California. I mean, it doesn't get much more old time conservative, not crazy like in a goofy costume in some field in Oklahoma or Ohio or something, for the guy with the orange hair.
There's conservative, and then there's MAGA, and MAGAs are crazy. Conservatives are like what my grandparents were. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What a good job he's done fucking the country up. He fucking fucked up the funding for my kid's formula, and like all health insurance for my kid and all kinds of stuff. This dude's fucking up.
So this is how I feel about it. If you go to a political rally, you might be in too deep. I have never, ever in my life ever wanted to go to any political rally ever.
I was arrested. You can find a picture of me on Google. I was arrested at Tony Blair's Peace Medal Award. I thought that was the biggest bunch of bullshit that ever fucking happened in my hometown of Philadelphia. So me and some friends went down there and tried to do a citizen's arrest on Tony Blair, and were arrested and carried out by Secret Service. That was fun.
Yeah, no, you might be obsessed a little bit though. That's all I'm just saying. There might be an obsession going on. Diversify your time, and try to other hobbies besides politics.
I had a long conversation. I had an interesting conversation with a 21-year-old at the bar the other day when I was playing pool. This kid I was playing pool with, and he was telling me about how active he was in politics, and I was like, dude, if I spent as much energy as you do on politics, like I would be insane. Like I would lose my fucking mind. Like I couldn't.
Seriously.
Like everything is so fucked up right now that like I
couldn't
mentally handle like dealing with all the shit that's going on, with all the things that like everything is messed up. But I wanted to
everything. Both sides. Both sides.
Well, yeah.
Both sides are all of them. They should have what is it called? They should have each politician should have who they're sponsored by on their jackets, like a NASCAR. That's what they should look like. Walk around with their sponsors on them.
So this guy used to own Ouroboros aquaponics in Half Moon Bay. I used to work for this guy, with this guy actually. We had a weed company together too. Anyways, he got arrested in January 6th stuff. He just got a pardon by Trump, but he was one of the January 6ers that stormed the Capitol and all that. But he lost most of his customers in San Francisco that were buying his lettuce when he got arrested for storming the Capitol.
Can you imagine making the trip, going all the way to Washington just
so
for that?
So you could destroy your company's financial
future. Dude. I'm just saying, you might be a little obsessed.
I agree with you completely. Like at this point, I'm hoping Trump breaks the system so badly that we can get rid of the two parties. And then
that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing that he's gonna do.
That's what I want. That's what I want. I want Trump to destroy the two-party system once and for all. And I want us to get more than two parties that we can vote for, so we can finally get some goddamn.
Yeah, how about we vote for some human beings that actually care about
the Democrats,
fellow citizens.
They don't do anything to fix anything.
They're sellouts.
I'm not.
They sold out. They sold out.
You can't put someone that wasn't elected during the primaries as a fucking candidate and then expect everyone.
No.
Are you a psychopath? Like, no.
Yeah, and then she was also a freaking DA. How do you expect me to want to vote for a DA?
A DA after George Floyd? Are you crazy? Like, it's been 12 years since the Democrats have allowed people to vote for their candidate. They've usurped the candidate that got the most number of votes for 12
years. I would have voted for Bernie Sanders in a heartbeat.
Three elections, if you count it. So the two that they screwed Bernie Sanders, and then now Harris. Yeah. All right, so that's 3 elections in a row. That's 12 years that you fucked voters out of the person that they wanted. Why are they not voting for you? I don't know. Maybe because you spent over a decade fucking your voting base. Like, gee, I wonder if that's why you can't win elections. Like this isn't rocket science.
No, it's not. Really they don't want to listen.
But they don't want to listen. They don't want to hear it.
Yeah, but the two-party system must go, and then also money and politics needs to go.
Well, I've lived under multiple government structures now. In Africa and Asia and everywhere else, parliamentary system that forces multiple coalitions to change on a regular basis and then get along with people they don't like seems to be the best way to figure out the best middle ground for everyone, because it forces the left and the right and everyone in between or other satellites to that to fucking work together and to come up with something that they can actually get past, that they can agree on, right? And we don't have that right now. And this didn't start until Newt Gingrich. He's the one that says stick your heels in and fucking don't agree with everybody. He's the one that fucked up politics in the U.S. But that's a whole separate long argument. But before him, left would say their side, the right would say their piece, and then they would go, okay, well, what can we agree on? Let's find a middle ground and get this bill passed, right?
Yeah. And that's
what we all grew up under, right? I think that's what I grew up under. I think that's what Coot and we both grew under is okay, everyone can go say their piece, and then they work together to come up with some kind of solution to move forward. And Coot, please blow cannonballs.
You
have a way better perspective on somebody. But I feel like after Newt Gingrich in late 80s, early 90s, right? Again, my understanding.
What generation is that?
They started to get more tribal, and then after George Bush, especially under Obama, things got nuclear, tribal, and then we're left versus right, and then fuck the other guy, like hell be damned kind of shit after that.
Yeah, what generation was that is doing all this?
I mean, Newt Gingrich is the one that pushed the whole.
Well, baby boomer is the institution that study this shit. A baby boomer is born between 1944 and 1964, so that basically means you have to be 61 to 81 today. So it's the boomers. Newt Gingrich is a boomer. Trump is a boomer.
Yep.
Clinton was a boomer.
Yep. Fuck Clinton.
I can go down the
Yeah,
list.
they will not let Gen X in power. What is the boomers so worried about us getting into power?
Because they amassed all the wealth. They had a different. It cost them 5% of what it cost us to go to college or for houses. Or like they had a different ratio.
You're talking about a subject that requires serious anthropologists and sociologists and psychologists. I mean,
for sure.
There was never a generation prior to the boomers that was mollycoddled and babied and pampered like the boomers were. Remember, this was after World War II. We were
the greatest generations, kids.
We're the champions
and
of the world.
And there was a middle class. I mean, believe me, it wasn't all like the TV shows of the era, but there was enough of it. And you know, you had the wife and the husband and station wagon, and 2.2 kids and a dog, and you lived in the suburbs, and just yeah. And they raised a generation of idiots. But the worst part is the idiots that we produced.
Okay. Hey, calm down.
Yeah, so you could look at basically consider born between the ages like of 1974, maybe
no.
Yeah.
Wait,
I'm not.
Generation X. Gen X is the baby boomers kids. So that's 1966. I think it's 1966 to or 1965 to 1980, somewhere around there.
That makes sense.
Hold on. And then you have Generation Y. This is my opinion. From 1980 to 1990, because 1990 onward is completely different than the 80s kids. Because my sister was born 1990, and her upbringing was completely different from mine. Her exposure to social media and internet was 10 times more than what I had. And I feel like that is not emphasized. Like, if people call millennials like 1980 to 2000 or whatever, the 1995, whatever, that's bullshit. It's almost needs to be split in half, because technology shifted the culture so heavily. After that, once internet AOL came around, that shifted everything completely.
Hand devices, I think. Hey, look, I remember cell phones when they were just cell phones, and adding text messaging was a big fucking deal. That was where BlackBerry.
It's like 10 cents a text.
Yeah, you could send a text. It had a physical keyboard.
Those fucking Nokia phones that you could put into a goddamn furnace and they would still work. You could fucking charge them once a week. Like, what was that Nokia phone? Nokia used to have a phone. I swear to God, you could shoot a fucking bullet into those things and it would fucking stop the bullet and still make a phone call.
Think about this for a second. Apple did not invent the MP3 player.
They didn't.
Zoom was around.
Huh? Zoom did, yeah. I used to have the Zune.
The iPod.
I used to sell them at GameStop. The GameStop used to carry the Zunes.
The iPod was Teutonic. I mean, the advertising campaign. This was before earbuds.
Yeah, the Walkman, and then after Walkman,
they had wired headphones. They connected to the little device. And
you used to have to download your music, and it would take you 3 hours to download one fucking song.
So think about that for a minute. So they basically, Apple reinvented how music is distributed.
It is.
Okay. So then 15 years ago, was it? 17 years ago, Steve Jobs walks out on stage and goes, the iPhone.
Yep.
They didn't invent the iPhone. They were Motorola had an iPhone back in the 80s. Remember the bricks?
Mm-hmm.
The big motherfuckers, those
Yeah.
things had more power. I mean, it took like 3 hours or more to charge them. Look at what they've done to they put BlackBerry out of business.
Holy
Microsoft
shit.
Microsoft used to make phones. Remember that? They
So
bought
Paramount.
and they were getting
Paramount.
they fucked that one up. HTC, remember HTC out of Korea? They had a super phone gone. I mean, if the list of phones that have disappeared, or
Well, so mp3.com got sold last year. It used to be it used to be owned by Paramount. That was like the website to download music by artists for fucking
Napster.
decades. Like I downloaded, I just tried to go to it and it said not found. I just looked it up. Apparently they sold it last year. That's
Napster.
fucking crazy.
I remember going to
oh
Napster.
yeah, Napster, yeah,
Napster,
LimeWire.
LimeWire. Yep.
uTorrent.
uTorrent. Yeah, I remember. And then you'd put it on in the middle of the night, and then you'd go to bed, and then wake up with a
in the
song.
morning. I used to have at my English class, I had 2 computers and I put out of order like papers on the screens and I turned the monitors on and I used them as dedicated download machines. To
Here's how
download
Apple gets
I
you.
used to
Let's say
fill
you-
up enough to fill like 700 megabytes and then I would burn them onto a CD
Right.
and then I'd take them home.
This is how Apple.
We're old.
Here's the marketing program. Okay. So they have a phone. You got an iPhone, right? You got a computer, laptop, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro. You can spend all the way up to $8,000 on the Pro before taxes. Before taxes, $8,000 on a laptop. Okay. And then let's see. You need a tablet. God damn it, because a phone and a computer, come on. You got to have a tablet. So all those devices can run this music. And so you pay a fee for the whole year. If you find a song that you like and you make a playlist out of it, an album or whatever, it appears on all your other devices without you doing anything. So they got you locked in, and you hook up CarPlay to it. Get the idea here. All of a sudden, you're in the Mac ecosystem. You're Mike. You're not talking.
Yeah.
The ethos system. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in the Apple ethos.
This is the
Apple
thing that everyone
fanboy.
suddenly learned with the TikTok shit. Apple reserves the right to delete apps off of your devices that they do not like. Android does not.
Oh, please. You're talking. Come on. Google is the most pernicious.
Coot is the king of
Yeah.
TikTok. He has so many
of
awesome dance
data mining
videos.
there is. That's how Google makes their money, is mining your data and selling it to advertisers. They're the
Yes.
worst.
Yep.
Android phones.
Android are they're a more open interface, and you can actually do more stuff on an Android, but the security is garbage.
Horrible.
No, the base security is garbage, but if you know what you're doing on Android, you can lock it down way more.
That's a big
I
if.
agree.
Why is it? Never mind.
Why do you have
Yep.
to lock it down?
Because it's open.
Because we live in the Fourth Reich in the United States.
Yes.
So there's a great app that everyone should have on their phones, Android or Apple, called Cell Spy Catcher. And if the police try to use a stingray, it'll automatically disconnect your phone and warn you. Super useful app.
What is it called again?
I swear, people don't know how to be criminals anymore. It's
Cell
cheap.
Spy Catcher.
As cheap as phones are, to go get burner phones. So you're running a game. So
you can still get a flip
your
phone.
legit phone, your Android or your Apple, whatever the fuck you got, right? But for the clandestine, and you only want 3 or 4 people involved, you go pick up some phones for nothing. For fucking nothing. Mint, or I can't even remember all the names.
Yeah.
And
What are the
awesome
other
with the whole third
uses?
party.
huh?
What are the other uses for that cell spy catcher thing? Is it also for other to see if other people are trying to catch your signal, or
So if you have your normal town or area that you're operating in, you can
yeah,
able to learn the serial numbers of the antennas, the broadcasting antennas, and if you go to an airport or you have a police sting or some other thing, and they drive, and this is common in major cities where they'll drive
yeah,
through a town or a city with a van that sucks up, especially for protests in particular. They did this a lot during Occupy. They have a device called a
Airphone.
Stingray, and it plugs into a laptop, and it can suck all the data off your phone, right? So you can see your call logs, you can see your
Just
text messages. It can
burner
rip
phone.
all
oh,
the data off
fun.
your phone really quickly. Like as they just drive through the neighborhood, it'll suck up every phone on the street all at once.
Hey,
Oh,
Um,
fun times.
so, but how it does it is it spoofs being a different tower. So it says, okay, I'm this other tower nearby. Well, the serial number on the chips is different, right? For the Stingray. So that's how the app knows that it's not. So once it memorizes for 48 hours your local towers, it knows which ones are whitelisted versus blacklisted. So anything that's not on the whitelist is on the blacklist. That's how it works. Like to simple, again, I'm super simplifying this, but
No,
that's
no, it makes sense. No,
what
no,
they call
so if it suddenly detects that like it switches towers in an area where it knows the towers it should be connected to, it will disconnect all data connections.
here's how you
That's all it does.
here's how you run things. First of all, especially in California, because you're always close to another county, right? You want two or three counties involved. You want your bank in one county, you want your distribution in another county, and your warehousing in a different county. Because they're always looking to get the bust. So there's not a lot of cooperation.
The other bit of it is to add to that is that they need 90 days of data to prosecute, right? So if you're switching every 60 days on your communications network, they
That's
have to have 90
right.
days worth of evidence.
Exactly.
So
And look, who can't, I mean, if you can't walk into a Best Buy and plunk down $20 and get a burner phone and have a tragic accident, you know,
yeah.
oh, I lost it, or I mean, come on. I mean, you got to be smarter than that. I mean, if you're not that smart, you shouldn't be involved in something that could put you away in, as we used to call it, away at school for a while.
Yeah, well, either way though, like you should be changing devices regularly and smart
Yeah,
about
absolutely. I agree. And then your
using
location.
encryption or you're stupid.
Yes. Yeah. And have different personas. And I mean, I can remember 50 years ago buying a set of docs from an underground newspaper. They had an ad, you got a birth certificate, you got a California, a CDL, you got I don't know, all these documents.
Coot was so good that song Shaniqua Don't Live Here No More is actually written about Coot. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Change names on, get your tickets under different names. I mean, hey, remember all that shit about having to report money? That didn't happen until Reagan came into office. Before that, you could go into a bank,
No, and
suitcase
fucking
full of
comical
20s,
goddamn
get it converted over into C notes all
US
day long.
government thought they had the right to tax my income overseas. Like, what plan? I already paid taxes in a foreign country.
Yeah, I
Are
know.
you fucking high?
Yeah.
No, that's no. Go fuck yourself. I already paid taxes on that money once. You can go fucking fuck yourself.
That's why I know a lot of people back in Antigua that were dropping their American citizenship because they were just sick of it. They're just like,
Fuck
I'm
all that shit.
living and
Like
working in
they're just
another
out of
country.
control. Like no other country does that. I mean, the U.S. and like two other countries try to rake in money overseas. Go fuck yourself. It's out of control.
Well, soon I'll be making a change, probably going to the next incarnation. So you'll see the headlines: "Dickhead Coot kicks the bucket. Fuck him." So
Oh, I fully plan on going to your wedding with Dragonfly. Or funeral.
yeah,
Wedding. No, just kidding. Hopefully wedding. Renew your vows. You got plenty of time left, Coot. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I'll tell you one thing.
We sure as hell enjoy having you here. That's for damn sure.
You know, none of the people
Oh yeah.
that I knew in the cannabis industry made it through legalization. They retired, they got out of it.
It's a meat grinder. It'll make you want to kill yourself on a regular. Like
exactly.
it's the hardest fucking thing I've ever done.
Exactly.
I would if I could, if I had to start over again from the beginning, I don't think I would. I'll just be honest. It's been fucking hard.
You know, the one sector that only lasted a season, maybe two. I'm wrong. Let's say 2 seasons. Do you remember the bullshit with CBD? There were people in Colorado selling seeds for $50 a piece. $50 a fucking piece. And I knew people, down the line and stuff, that they were investment bankers on Wall Street that lost their fucking ass on CBD farms. In Arizona, you set up a CD. Are you out of your fucking mind? You know how hot it gets in this cannabis? You want to be in the middle states, man.
Yep.
Indiana, Illinois.
Things like Africa too, trying to do CBD production. It doesn't work there. It's the wrong climate.
That's why they call it a desert. Nothing grows there. It's a desert. Yeah.
Well, okay. This will make a lot of sense to you, Coot, because you understand about tobacco growing, but what was grown in fucking Zimbabwe before fucking after it was the breadbasket, but before the Rhodesian Empire ended? Tobacco, right? What does tobacco fertilizer emphasize? A shit ton of manganese. What triggers THC production? A shit ton of manganese, right? So you have all these fields at 2, 3, 4, 500 parts per million manganese, right? Well, what the fuck do you think is going to happen when you put CBD cultivars in there? Like THC is directly requires high manganese for THC expression in genetics. So it shifts everything, even CBD genetics, into being more THC heavy produced, like because of the previous crops there. With manganese being such a heavily over supplemented mineral for tobacco production, and that was the majority of the agricultural land for Zimbabwe. So like they don't understand any of that. These salt farmers don't understand the correlation between secondary metabolite expression and individual nutrient levels. And it's like it shows real fucking bad when they start growing it. Or photosynthesis. I went to a CBD grower, spent $2.5 million on their facility, didn't know the plants needed to be at 12-12 to flower them. $2.2 million spent on the facility. Did not know they needed to have the plants at 12 hours.
This was I don't want to name too much in it, but this was a group of investors out of Hong Kong. Banks, not individuals, banks. Oregon was the first state that allowed outside money, not just other states, but other countries. So it was a gold rush. You can imagine how much money came pouring into Oregon. If you had hemp muffins, you could get funding. Okay. I mean, it was nuts. And I just sat back and watched it. And I kept thinking to myself, this is a shit race to the bottom. Let's see what happens. And that first year, listen, I got called out on a job. can you go out there and help them? I can't do anything, and they won't pay me unless I get this problem fixed. And I mean, fuck, it was 45 miles one way. And for me, okay, so I go out there. I thought, at Christmas time when you go get a Christmas tree and they have those blue ones and pink ones, they've been flocked, so it looks like snow. That's what their plants look like with powdery mildew. And the guy says, well, we're spraying them with a high fungal tea. Isn't that enough? I said, you know what my suggestion would be? I would take my entire crew, and he had 15 people working for him. I'd go to Army surplus, and I'd get machetes. I'd come back here and I'd cut this whole thing down, and then have it professionally fumigated. I mean, a professional hazmat company to come in, because what you have is systemic. It's in your, and this was, I've never seen anybody spend as much money on their greenhouse in my life. It had panels that could turn daytime into night, and nighttime you could have the lights on full board, and it would block out. There was no light coming out into the whatever. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars. And guess what? They never got a crop out. They never got a fucking crop out. And so then they decided that they were going to go into marketing the cannabis lifestyle. And I just sat back and watched the parade, It's like, this is like Mad Magazine, or Beavis and Butthead, something like that. We're talking, I don't know, I bet it was at least $3 million that they spent. Because the property, I mean, they weren't in this factory in downtown Portland. They were on 50 acres out in the country, with security. I mean, all the security mandated by the state, your the camera system, your check-in system, a verification of who's coming into your building and all that shit. I mean, tens of thousands of dollars it added to your. It was so bad that after the first year, there were individuals that went and returned their licenses to the state agency that it was issuing the commercial cannabis licenses. That's how bad it was.
Well, CBD went from, I think, 18,000 licenses at its peak to like 4,000, I think, or 3,800, something like that this last year.
Hey, look, when I'm getting a prescription filled at a drugstore, and you're waiting there for your name to get called or whatever, and they got a little stand, aluminum stand with CBD products on it. What does that tell you? Under the store's name, how good could it be? And a lot of it's coming in out of China, or excuse me, offshore. It isn't just China, South America. CBD oil. So
just on the note of what you were saying and what they were saying in chat. So I did this as we had the aquaponic conference one year on Halloween. So they had a presentation during the dinner. Like they had everyone, you paid for your dinner meal or whatever. Everyone's sitting around waiting for the evening talks. They have 2 talks after dinner. So it is scary things you don't want to find. This is bong aphids. This is different stuff I've seen doing consulting. So look at how many aphid skeletons are on this leaf. There's a couple of live aphids as well, but mostly skeletons. Fucking wild. I just thought you guys would. It's just a couple of horror pics. There's another aphid porn on peppers, the aquaponics facility with peppers.
Yummy.
You can see winged adults. So these winged ones, these black ones with wings, those are the flight adults. So if there's too many aphids, they'll produce another instar, which is these the next generation. It's the oldest ones that they can fly off to other plants. And then these are all the younger ones. But you can see there that only a couple of them have aged out to the wing stage because they have a minimum population size that they just finish as these large green ones.
No, I got a question for you. Do aphids have any protein?
Yeah, I mean you're getting protein with them.
Okay. So if you eat them,
This
you
is
will get protein.
Chia seed.
early septoria. You can see the white spots. Starts to get necrotic.
How do you prevent this septoria from taking over?
Septoria. So Septoria, if you do good liquid IMO applications, so if you do the rice collection of fungi, and you
Mhm.
that, it does really good. And then lactobacillus. So if I had this on my plants, to do 3 applications of lactobacillus, and then 3 applications of liquid IMO. But you should be dosing liquid IMO like every other week in your garden, but it'll prevent it completely. See it.
If you use milk kefir,
Yeah, so that's what we use for
and
our,
then
our lactobacillus.
yeah, and separate the curds from the whey.
Yep. And then IMO. So IMO is like 30 to 40% lactobacillus bacteria as well. So you're getting a large percentage of the local species through an IMO collection.
You're getting between what's interesting about the kefir is that it's a what do you call it? When there's a symbiotic relation between fungi and bacteria, like kombucha. Anyway, you're not just getting labs, you're also getting, which are bacteria, obviously, but you're getting yeast.
Yep.
In the milk kefir.
Yep.
And the total number is up around 48. I mean, it's tremendous.
Yeah.
And
the
it costs
synergy,
very little to make.
that synergy really helps with bioavailability of nutrients as well as getting rid of fungal pathogens and stuff.
I have a glass every morning when I take my I use Ayurvedic herbs, and I
nice.
take it with milk kefir.
I did a whole product line of Ayurvedic gummies in New Jersey for a client that's currently on the market. But yeah, I have a whole AI that does Ayurvedic stuff as well.
Well, I should send you the list that I got from. He was or is, not was. He was educated and trained at Rutgers as an MD, and then he decided to did that for close to 15, 16 years, I guess. And then he went back to school and got his degree in Ayurvedic medicine as a practitioner. And he also attended Dr. Weil's integrative medicine school down at University of Arizona, got certified there. Anyway, long story short, MD and a certified Ayurvedic practitioner. So he put together this list of herbs, and I got them all from Mountain Rose, so they're all organic.
Nice. Yeah, they're a great source.
And then I have a semi-pro. I'm going to ask you, it's a mill that grinds down to 0.25 millimeter.
Okay.
So that's how fine I ground it. Because he gave me not the recipe, but I bought it from him, and it really worked. And he had a list of everything in it. So
I have an AI that I built that has the Ayurvedic, like the original Ayurvedic texts in Hindi.
Send me an email tomorrow, and I'll send you the list.
It has like 75 of the different. Has like 75 of the most popular English books, and then all the Ayurvedic texts in Hindi.
Okay.
You can use all of those to give correct answers.
All right. Send me an email, and I'll send you the recipe that I use
Okay.
tomorrow. But it's got the usual, it's got the stuff you get from bitter melon, Gymnema sylvestre. It's got cinnamon. It's got turmeric. It's got black pepper. It's got, and I take berberine instead of metformin. Berberine, the compound, and metformin, the compound, are found in other plants. Okay. They're also found in the same plant, French lilac. Is that amazing? So, but you get berberine in other sources, maybe more powerful. Like it has nothing to do with the stuff for wine, but they call it Oregon grape. It's a plant, and it's got really high levels of berberine. But that's what diabetics, type 2 diabetics need to control blood sugars. And so that replaces metformin.
So, Chris, you had circled some stuff on here. So this is a disease that is common like east of the Rockies and then anywhere in the tropics.
Yeah, I was just looking at the differences, and like it looked like a leafhopper damage right there, the big one, and the little one looked like the septoria.
The big one is grasshopper, and then
Yeah,
the
or
little,
grasshopper.
you can see like just to the right of that smaller circle that you made, there's a more necrotic. Actually,
Yep.
I forgot.
It's kind of like the beginning, or I mean, there's one to the left of that one, and that's a little bit smaller. It looks like it's the beginning, and then it goes into the one that's into to the right. So my question would be: did that leafhopper bring that, or did?
No, so septoria is spread by the air, so it's usually in the trees or the grass.
Okay.
And then once you get rains, and then it's above about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, it'll trigger.
Okay. Now, does it need moisture to trigger, or does it need heat? Does it need moisture and heat, or no?
It needs moisture. Yeah.
So, would it be better for a place that's like down south, or like in Oklahoma, that's more of a moist?
Yeah, if you're doing any growing in Oklahoma or anywhere in the South or east of the Rockies, anywhere in the Midwest, I've seen this in Michigan, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Jamaica, Africa, Asia. It's very common anywhere that's warm and wet. So you're not going to see it in Canada. You're not going to see it east of, or west of the Rockies. You just don't have it out here.
Mm-hmm.
It's adapted to cannabis.
What is it?
You might never run into it, but it's unlikely. Also, there's another disease called Alterenia, which looks very similar to this, but the treatment's the same. So it doesn't really matter if you misidentify it. It's one or the other. They look very, very similar. But I did want to mention that.
Hey guys, I gotta go.
Okay.
I'll see you next week, man.
Thanks. Thanks for coming.
Yep. Coot. Heck yeah.
I think that's a good time to end the show for the rest.
I got a couple more slides. Hold on.
Right.
So yeah, that's Victoria. This is beet curly top virus. Bean curly top virus, beet curly top virus, then cannabis. And this is confirmed with DNA testing. You don't see pictures of this very often.
No, that's awesome. That sucks for them.
Except
this is mosaic virus. This is like severe mosaic virus.
Ooh, that's cool.
And you can see the curled leaves and the very extreme mosaic patterning on the leaves.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I love mosaic art.
I mean, it's cool from an art standpoint. Tobacco budworm.
Yeah, I hate that thing.
They change color plant that they feed on. So if you have purple buds, they'll be real dark purple. I have pictures of all the different color morphs on cannabis.
I'd tear his head off.
This is the most scary picture I've ever taken on weed.
Oh my god, but they're so cute.
Like grasshopper babies that all hatched at once onto a weed plant.
Dude, they're so cute though. Look at them.
But it looks like someone copy and pasted them on there.
Yeah,
So similar looking.
they look like Jiminy Cricket.
Right? But I've never seen them in that density on a plant except for one time. So I had to get a picture. And
No shit, I would have took a picture too. That's pretty awesome.
if you describe that to someone, people wouldn't believe you.
Like those three right there, they're on the top. It look like those are like seriously right there. Those three there, those. Wait, hold on, let me. Yeah, those three. It just doesn't look real.
Right. I think these are all like the same exact angle. Like
Oh yeah, look at those. Yeah, look at them. Yeah, that's the trip.
this is fucking crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Scorpion. This was another thing I found in Oklahoma. Got used to the striped bark scorpions.
Are those poisonous? I mean, I know
Remember,
that scorpions.
the smaller the claws, the stronger the venom. They're pretty small claws. Yeah, I mean, you don't definitely have to go to the hospital, but you're gonna have a bad fucking day if you get stung by it.
Yeah.
This is root aphids. There's as much biomass in root aphids in that picture as there is roots. The more you look, the more aphids you see.
Oh my god!
All life stages as well. These are rice root aphids on cilantro.
AKA planter.
Yeah, these are the worst ones to get in your grow. These guys are hard to get to zero. You can do it, but it's not easy. And this is what they look like on the top of the plant. This is the base of the plant. You can see the exoskeletons. They only go up so far, and there's some white fly infecting this as well.
Do they ever leave wherever they're at?
No.
Will they always be there forever?
So for this, we'll spray them with Ray Bassiana and Neisseria fumiceraceae, and it will infect 90% of them, and then their corpses will spore and kill the 10% survivors. And then it'll kill all but maybe 1% of the original population. And then we'll bring in rove beetles after 3 weeks of treatment with fungi. And then the rove beetles will kill off all the survivors. So this is a close-up image of one of those. Microscope picture of rice root aphid. This is some hail that I ran into in Oklahoma.
Oh man,
that's some big hail.
That's some big hail. You imagine getting hit in the head with one of those?
There was one out there, I swear to God, that was the size of a football in the field during this hailstorm. And I almost ran out to grab it, but like I was worried about being injured. So I just grabbed the stuff by the door. But,
yeah, I wouldn't do it either.
I mean, there's a quarter on my palm, and you're getting hit by a quarter-sized piece of hail sucks. That piece there next to it is 4 to 5 times the size of a piece of.
4 to 5 times the size of it. And look, they're not like they're perfectly round and stuff.
And these are broken ones. They're the whole ones are spherical before they hit the ground and shatter.
Oh man, they look like those have spikes on them too.
Yeah, they do, because the droplets glue on. It's like a bunch of smaller pieces glued together. See, they form.
Oh, jeez.
So they fucking hurt like a lot.
They look like
we were pulling into the dispensary and we saw the funnel cloud drop in the field behind there. And we ran in this storm, and then us and all of the other employees and the one other customer ran into the vault and closed the door from the inside, and in case the tornado hit, because the vault was built. It's concrete, right? So tornado could hit you directly, and the vault ain't moving. It's one concrete with the base of the structure, right? It ain't picking that up. So it broke a bunch of the windows on the dispensary, but it didn't. The hailstones did, but it didn't damage the building. The tornado missed the building, but we were within 300 feet of that tornado for this storm. We had 14 tornado warnings the first month I moved to Oklahoma, 2019. That was fun. I mean, fun in like a terrifying way.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have these guys. They call them skeeter eaters. It's a type of robber.
Oh, that was cool.
This is like a 3 or 4 inch grasshopper. Like just to give you an idea of the size of that grasshopper. Like it's a big grasshopper, and this thing's bigger.
Yeah.
It's like dragonfly size, but it's a fly. And they'll bite like they can bite humans, but they're mainly after large flying insects. So they'll eat like the butterflies and moths that lay eggs and caterpillars on your plants, and they'll eat
Oh,
these
yeah.
big hoppers because normally you don't have a good predator for them. So if you see them around, like we try not to fuck with them because they're good predators to have, but they're hard to find pictures of them. I've managed to get a couple of good pictures of them feeding in the weed plants. But this is one of the cooler ones. He's sucking his brains out.
Oh, yeah. One thing. Yeah, there you
Spider
go.
mite. I think you guys don't know what that is. We used to look at microscope pictures. Nice chromatic red spider mite. And a young thrip, yellow thrip, western flower thrip. Another spider mite, bunch of exoskeletons, other spider mites. Something else to look for if you're not seeing bugs for the exoskeletons.
Oh,
Silkworms, the tent worms, I think is the other name for them. They'll like curl the leaves over. You ever see that? A bunch of the leaves will be bunched together.
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
That's those guys. Predator is tree frog.
Oh, yeah.
Is it? We get these all the time in Oklahoma, especially in the aquaponic greenhouses. They love the water. We just catch them and put them outside. Suddenly I can't. What the hell? I guess that's the end of the end of the presentation. Yeah. Anyways, I just thought that'd be fun to share.
Heck
Good
yeah,
fun.
that was. That was a really cool frog.
I have so many tree frog pictures on weed. I have probably 30 or 40 different species at this point on weed on photos.
Yeah,
You know what
our
I really
frog.
got into in Asia was the tiger beetles. There is so
Oh,
many
man.
tiger beetles there that are just super fucking dope looking that end up in the groves all the time. And the weed attracts different larger insects and they just
What do
murder the shit.
tiger beetles look like?
Oh, 1 second, I'll get you a picture. Second here. I got a bunch of cool pictures of the ones up in Guereero. Just gotta remember which account I took them on. So yeah, they're super dope. Um, there's North American ones too. If you're wanting to learn more on them, 1 second. Here we go. Like this is a good example. So, find this guy here.
I'm excited. Oh, wow. Look at that.
And they have like 4 mandibles in the front too, for like
Holy
murdering.
shit. And it's like
Beautiful
iridescent.
color. Really cool looking.
Oh, yeah.
Wrong button. Hold on. I have some other videos on them. This was trippy too. So this was a plant we cut, and the ants had colonized the inside of the plant. See the holes?
Mm-hmm.
So this was this ant species that was like colonizing these weed plants at this farm. And I was trying to like ID the species and like show the image. I don't think I've ever posted this video. I have lots of stuff I need to post around at some point, but
Oh
there's
yeah.
termites that would get into the plant. That was at that same farm. But they did.
Damn those termites.
Here we go. This is what I was looking for.
Look at this beautiful blue predator insect.
So this is a video of those cool little tiger beetles. So he had like black lights kind of near the ground level at night. They were attracting these tiger beetles, and then they were just like overrunning all of his plants during the day. So he has some spider mites and stuff and thrips once in a while, but anything that's bigger than a spider mite or a thrip gets murdered by these guys at this
Oh
farm.
man.
There's like no caterpillars, no moths, no beetles, no anything that's not microscopically small gets insta murdered. We had thousands of these things in this greenhouse. Micro murder.
Nice.
But there's many different species in Thailand, all over the world, but especially in Thailand, they have a lot of cool ones. Yeah, this is a better clear photo. Look at the color on it. So beautiful.
Oh yeah, look at that.
I'm not really doing it justice, but they're beautiful blue.
Oh yeah, you can tell.
As you can see, just a tiny bit of thrip damage, but nothing else because they just protect the plants. But it's the kind of stuff where, like, if we can figure out like a protocol to cultivate them in gardens, like in the U.S. or otherwise, like that's a really dope, way to defend your garden.
Oh yeah.
And it's free, it's nature.
Nature. Those assassin bugs are cool too.
All right. Well, I think it's been fun. We should start to
Yep.
wrap.
Right up. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I got to be working 4 hours. So.
I think you're fading.
I've been fading for a while.
Once it's midnight on Pacific time, we know that West is tired.
Right on. Well, with that, I think we'll be out. What's the best way for everybody to get a hold of you guys?
You find me on Potent Ponics and all the things, or Growing with Fishes and all the things. We did a great episode last week with Nigel Palmer. I will be doing recorded episodes for a little while. My schedule is just a bit wonky, and it's easier for me to do that. And I feel like we're gonna go to do cooler quality content. And then there's a bunch of people that I've wanted to interview that I've spoken to over the years that just are not able to do evenings because of family life, or they just refuse after 5 o'clock. So we're gonna kind of mine through a bunch of those people because I have about 30 or 40 people that I want to interview that fall into that category at this point. So a lot of older folks as well that are interesting things to teach us. I want to interview on that. So that's something that we'll be doing. So slightly less frequency in episodes, but we're going to increase the quality of content, at least for now, while I'm dealing with getting a business going and a baby and all the other things.
Woo-hoo.
What about you?
Yep.
You have a show as well.
Yes. The Guereero Grow Show. Also, it's on Guereero Grows Also, I have a new channel. It's called Cannabis 101 or Cannabis Dash 101. It's going to be strictly educational. No cussing, no smoking, no nothing. Just education only. I'll be doing a bunch of different stuff on there. I want to have potent ponics on there doing the aquaponics, but all in due time.
Come up when we get the facility finished construction here in a couple months. You can come film up there.
Oh heck yeah, heck yeah! As long as I got a place to crash, man, because I'm not coming back home the same day, man. That'd be like 10 hours
No,
and
it's
shit.
all
That'd be like a 3-day weekend thing. So as long as there's a place for me to crash for 3 days.
we got a hotel nearby too, so whichever is better for you.
Yeah, I got an aired up mattress, and I could get a tent. I don't care as long as there's no bears. And the only wolves I care about are not the ones that are in your house. It's the ones out there.
There's one sitting at my feet right now who's super chill.
Yeah, I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about them.
Lions away, so don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, yep. You guys are always
All right.
welcome to come hang out.
Yeah, I will one of these days. It's often during my work day, so
Dude, you're a new dad. I understand, man. So you're busy. Come stop by anytime though. Hang out, smoke a bowl.
All right. Till next week, everyone.